Are okay but offered few other details. Police yesterday arrested a female motorist spotted driving the wrong way on I-71. Calls to police came in just after 9 a.m. reporting a vehicle heading southbound in the northbound lanes of 71 near Mason Montgomery Road. Officers caught up with 25-year-old Kelsey Peterson and took her into custody. Reports say that she was driving on a suspended license and is suspected of DUI. Help Firebirds Wood-Fired Grill find a cure for childhood cancer. Join them during Lemonade Days, June 11th through 13th, and all June long. Donate to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. You can donate to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. I'm Heather Pasco on 101.5 The Buzz.
Minutes after 101.5 The Buzz in Cincinnati with your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. On the other side of the glass, Raven Mundy.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about some things today. Now, I got to pick it up kind of where we left off yesterday. If you didn't hear the show yesterday, we talked a little bit about Naomi Osaka and what she was dealing with at the French Open, where she made the decision she was not going to speak to the media and, for her own mental health reasons. We discussed it. By the time the show was over, she had pulled out of the French Open, and we were having a discussion about mental health and about, taking care of one's mental health and other things. Right? People have come out supporting Naomi Osaka. But check this out. I really don't think that a lot of people do what I did yesterday. And what I'm telling y'all is people mean well. People mean well. Serena Williams is supporting Naomi Osaka. She's supporting Naomi Osaka. But here's what part of what Serena said. She says, many of them I've been into where I've been very difficult to walk in those moments. She says, I feel for Naomi. Not everyone is the same. I'm thick. Other people are thin. Everyone is different and everyone handles things differently. You just have to let her handle it the way she wants to and the best way she thinks she can. That's the only thing I can say. I think she's doing the best she can. Now, I can already hear some of y'all. I can hear already, oh, she thick and she thin. She's saying she's stronger and she weaker. She's just saying people are different. People are different.
I didn't get that at all from that.
You didn't get what?
That she was trying to say that Naomi might have been weaker or something.
A lot of people did get that.
Because I felt like Serena was specifically talking about her body, because that's what is mostly talked about in the tennis world when it comes to her and the criticism that she receives. A lot of it is because of her body and how much bigger and stronger, and they like to call her like more manly looking.
I don't think she was talking about her body, because what she was referring to was Naomi pulling out and how she's dealing with the media.
But I'm saying, like, all the things that come with being at that kind of level of athleticism and being known like that. For Serena, I've
it
heard.
Would seem really weird to me that she was talking about body types at that moment.
I'm talking about, like, Serena herself. Like, I felt like she was just saying, like, I've been through the ringer with the criticism and the things that come with being at this level of this game. Like, and I know for me, some of the stuff that I went through was being my body and my everything about me being compared to white, smaller, feminine, more looking players. And so I get that if you are going through something, it might make you feel a certain way.
I'm glad that you viewed it that way.
Really
the overwhelming number of people who are commenting on the news and on social media and things like that didn't view her as talking about her having a thick athletic build as opposed to other people having a thinner athletic build. People viewed it as her saying, basically, I'm thick, other people are thin. And everyone is different and everyone handles things differently. Even though I understand what she was saying was just that people are different. People are different. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I'm glad Serena Williams, among a number of other people, are supporting Naomi Osaka. Look, the rules are the rules. If you're going to play in the tournament, you got to talk to the media. That's their rule. Maybe they'll change it. Maybe they'll change it at some point. But as of right now, they haven't changed it. She pulled out. Of course, she'll have some conversations with them. Other athletes, other tennis players will begin to have conversations with them, and they'll make the decision as to what they're going to do, whether or not that's going to continue to be a part of it. I'm sure it'll always be encouraged.
Do these tournaments get funded by media? Like, do they receive some sort of...
Well, they have sponsors, and, when you look up at the wall behind them and you see, Evian, or however you pronounce that, fancy water behind them and all of that kind of stuff. All of that stuff plays into it. When they hold those press conferences, somebody sponsors that. Everything is sponsored.
That's what I was trying to figure out, like, because I never really understood why it was so adamant that athletes have to do interviews. Like, I never understood, like, are they getting paid? Is the media, like, there as a sponsor?
Yes, like, they pay to broadcast. But I don't know what network is broadcasting the French Open here in the United States. But, let's say it's NBC. NBC pays money, a good amount of money.
I know that.
To broadcast that. And if I'm paying you a good amount of money to broadcast the games, I want access to the people. I want to be able to ask them questions. I want to be able to interview them. All of that stuff, it all plays into it.
Gotcha.
So, there's money involved. And so, they want everybody to get their money's worth. They want everybody to get their money's worth. But look, I do believe you got to do what's best for you. You have to do what's best for you. And I mean, she could stop playing altogether right now. Financially, she's straight. So, she get it all together. Even though I know that's probably not the right terminology to use, get it all together. What you saying? She doesn't have it together? You saying that she's... No. I'm just saying whatever it is that she is dealing with, and she deals with it. And then if she decides to start back playing, good for her. If she doesn't, good for her. I actually like Naomi Osaka. I think Naomi Osaka has stood up for a lot of things for the African-American culture. So I'm down with Naomi. Also, in the tennis world, since we're talking a little bit about the tennis world, Coco Gauff. Y'all remember Coco Gauff? She's the young black girl. I think she was like 14. And, she was playing. I don't remember where she got to in one of the Grand Slams, but she's a really young African-American female. Right now, she's 17. And, she's been killing it. Well, she was asked a question by a reporter, and people are getting on the reporter. The question she was asked by this particular reporter is, you're often compared to the Williams sisters. Maybe it's because you're black, but I guess it's because you're talented and maybe American too. We could have a final between you and Serena. Is that something you hope for? I mean, 22 years separate you girls. And people are really offended by that question. Is that an offensive question?
I feel like he said a whole lot of extra stuff that didn't need to be said in order for him to just ask her, would you like to play against Serena? Why did you have to say, well, I think maybe they compare you because you're black? And
but is that true? Is it true that they get compared sometimes because they're black? Because they're black American females, and so you're going to look at these two and compare them? Is that a bad thing to say? I mean, it's true. It's a weird way to ask that question. I don't understand why it had to be phrased that way. I don't know because I can't even really understand what the point is of him saying all that extra stuff in order for him to just ask her, would you like to play against Serena? Why did you have to add all the extra stuff? What was that for? There's nothing wrong with that question.
I don't know. Something don't seem right about it.
Oh my goodness. I think sometimes people were way too sensitive. People maybe were a little too sensitive.
Yesterday I was weak. Now I'm sensitive. Great.
She says her response was, and people are giving her props for her response, even though I nothing against the response, but it's not like some amazing response. She actually just answered the question. She said playing in the Serena would be great. That's the dream I've always dreamed about, playing her in a final. But yeah, I mean, people compare me to them a lot, and I think it's a compliment. But for me, I just focus on being myself because I'm never going to be Serena Williams, and Serena will never be me because we're two different people. She says we have two different brains. I understand why people compare us, but I think it's just important that I want to be known as Coco. I don't want to be known as Serena Williams Air or Serena Williams Next Thing. I just want to be known as Coco Gauff.
I respect that.
It's a decent answer.
It is.
Yeah. So, sisters they're getting a hard time. I still consider Naomi Osaka a sister.
Yeah.
Blackanese, but still a sister.
You and that terminology.
That is an appropriate terminology.
No, it is not.
That is an appropriate.
No, it is not.
She's Haitian and Japanese.
So she's
black.
She's Afro-Asian. If you can be Afro-Latina, you can be Afro-Asian.
Blackanese, and there's nothing wrong
That is
with
not
it.
what that is.
All right, 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. I got a few other things I want to discuss because Monique came for sisters over the weekend. Monique came for sisters. I got a little bit of an issue with what Monique said, even though I kind of agree with her.
I know where this is going.
I mean, I have a bit of an issue. Can I do that? Can I do that?
Do what?
Have an issue with what she said, even though I kind of agree with her.
Just like I had an issue with what that question was, although I understand the question.
That's different.
Why is everything with you different?
I got to take a break. Look, if you didn't know, I am streaming live. And now, the afternoon experience has expanded. I was on Facebook and YouTube, which I still am. Hello to the people on Facebook. Hello to the people on YouTube. But I am also now on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch, you can check me out on Twitch. And I am live streaming on Instagram as well. So you can check me out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. Twitter, I'm coming for you next. I'm coming for you next, Twitter. I just got to figure that one out. So
that's why you're not a genius yet.
I was telling her, she was asking me, how did I figure out how to do that? I told her, I'm like a genius, only different. I'm like a genius, only different.
What is the difference?
It's so much. It's too much
Why
to go
is everything
into.
about you shrouded in secrecy? I don't like it, Emanuel. It's making it hard for me to trust you.
Let me take a quick break. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
Hey! The Buzz of Cincinnati is with you wherever you are. Just download the Buzz app to your smartphone and get the best in talk radio.
All right. Hold on. Let me check my settings here and make sure I did this correct. Yes. Hello, everyone watching. If this is your first time checking out the show, I feel like I'm screaming now again. I got this thing in my ear. If this is your first time checking out the show, yeah, I take the time when we're in commercial break to attempt to interact with the people watching on the stream. So hold on, let me do this. On the YouTube page, Crystal, Rhonda, Miss Lucky Charm, Martha, Cincy Tigress, Edward, Ebony, B-Rab, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Cincy Tigress says, any excuse to criticize black women. So frustrating. Who's criticizing? Maybe you're talking about Monique. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm about to say, I haven't criticized anybody. Over on the Facebook page, Kathy, Patricia, Samuel, Breeden, Tria, Brenda, Charles, Anthony, Quintano, Brent, Brenda, the other Brenda, Nat,
this is a test of the emergency alert system. This is
TC, Glenn, Lady K, Rodney. Those are the people who have commented so far. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell if you're over there on YouTube. Anywhere you are, I am going to be doing my best to interact with you. Let me see, over here on Twitch. I got a few viewers on Twitch, but nobody talking to me. But a lot of people don't know about Twitch. So, And on Instagram, for that I got to pull up my phone, don't I? Oh, let's see. Can we do this?
Hey, Cincinnati, do you want more from your job? Do you want a job where you can make
What's today?
a place where students are guaranteed to receive the best possible education because of your heart and commitment? Well, here's your opportunity.
They're telling me my phone is saying no internet connection, but I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. Oh, you know how our Wi-Fi is. Maybe if I go off Wi-Fi and just use my phone's network.
We will have on-site interviews for a variety of positions: licensed teachers, nurses, food services, life coaches, and counselors. For the complete list and for more details, visit CincinnatiCharterSchoolCollaborative.com. The CCSC Job Fair Saturday, June 5th from 10 to 2 p.m. at 76
Monday, I am live on Instagram, right? All right.
See you there.
Apparently I am. I don't know how to view it. I'm like a genius, only different. Okay, Cincy Tiger says she's frustrated with Monique this time. Thank goodness it wasn't me. And so hey everybody. I'm looking and somebody said I got a stain on my shirt. There's no stains on my shirt. Well, that's actually not true. I do have I was doing some screen printing and I was wearing this shirt, and so I have some ink on it. That ink ain't ever coming out because it's, screen printed on. So, I guess technically I do have some stains on my shirt. Brent says you moving on up like George and Wheezy. That's right. I'm coming for everything and everybody. I'm gonna be all over the place. Everywhere you turn on, the afternoon experience gonna be there. Everywhere. And I am planning a later, shorter live stream kind of podcast type thing. And that one I'll probably call the Afternoon Experiment. Because I really do like that name. Thank you, Lincoln. So, yeah, I'm planning on just having fun with this, man. If I got to do it, then I might as well do it.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Tell me it ain't good enough. Tell
21 minutes after 101.5 Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock. That was our own Jimmy, singing us out of the break. Okay, a few things going on. Of course, talked a little bit about Naomi Osaka, 749-1230. If you'd like to discuss that, 749-1230. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about this thing with Monique. Monique put out a thing on her Instagram where she criticized black women for wearing bonnets and pajamas in public. And she asked the question, when did we lose our pride? When did we lose our pride? She says she has a message for all the queens. She's one of those queens and kings type of people out there wearing bonnets and such at airports. She says, it took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say because I want to make sure I'm not saying it from a place of judgment and that I'm coming from a place of love. Some of y'all have given me the title of auntie, and I'm honored that y'all do that. But there are times that auntie has to talk to her babies and say some real S. She talked to the young sisters. She says, she got a problem with the young sisters wearing head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, and blankets wrapped around them at the airport. She says, and I've been seeing it not just at the airport. I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. When did we lose our pride in representing ourselves? When did we slip away and let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my house? She said she was trying to make it clear she wasn't suggesting that women wear a full face of makeup or a lace front. She said, all I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing someone will have to ask, if you have it. She said it's not to get a man. It's just your representation of you, sweet babies. Monique say that baby and all that type of stuff all the time. So she says it's just about a representation of you. She says, take her message as a warning. She vowed to step in if she happened to see them in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on and you got slippers on and you looking like what the F. She say, Auntie Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show what you're worth. Show what you deserve. Now, I've actually heard this from a lot of sisters, believe it or not. I very rarely hear brothers talking about this. I hear this from a lot of sisters who are tired of seeing other sisters wearing pajamas and wearing bonnets and wearing, being too casual. I don't even know if that's considered casual. Just, you know what I'm saying. Now, me personally, I don't have a problem with it. You wear what you want to wear. You'll be comfortable. You do what you want to do. But I understand it. And that's why I said I disagree with her, but I agree with her a little bit. I understand the idea, the concept of, presenting yourself a certain way and blah, blah, blah. I don't necessarily agree with that. And I think some of this is what they call it, respectability politics and
Absolutely.
Such. The idea that if you look respectable and you act respectable, you will be respected. Yourself respectable, then they'll respect you. When we know that's not true, we know it to not be true. So why do we put this pressure on ourselves? Or is it even pressure? Is it is it hard? Is it a lot of pressure to say to a sister, okay, don't wear your pajamas to the grocery store?
I don't think it's pressure. I just think it's preference. And people get comfortable trying to enforce their preferences on other people. I also do think it plays part into that whole respectability politics thing. But I also just think that in general, people you always looking for a reason to look down on somebody. You always want to find a reason to feel better than somebody. So it happens all the time. You be out in public and you see somebody wearing an outfit. It don't even have to be a bonnet. You see somebody wearing some shoes or an outfit that you don't think is like that well put together. You gonna talk about them because you feel like you have more sense of style or whatever the case may be. I don't think it matters what. And I think black women get the brunt of it mostly because it don't matter what. A lot of times, like you just said, it don't matter what I'm wearing. It don't matter what I look like. I'm going to be disrespected anyway because I'm black and I'm a woman and I'm out and about in the world.
So then the question would be, because Monique says she's trying to come from a place of love, right? And in essence, what she's saying, if I boiled it down, what she's trying to say is just look decent when you walk out the house because other people looking at you, you represent you and you represent us.
Yeah.
So can we have like a minimum standard? A minimum standard, like not wearing pajamas and slippers. Now, I'll be honest, at the airport, I don't really have a problem with it. A lot of things happen at the airport. I don't know how long you've been at the airport. I don't know where you came from. You might have been on a 12-hour flight and then had a 5-hour layover and then got to grab another 12-hour flight.
I make absolutely
and if you
no
gonna be
judgments.
comfortable, you gonna be comfortable.
I make no judgments in the airport. Like I get it because a lot of people travel a lot, and so you just find your routine when you travel that's most comfortable for you. If it's most comfortable for me to travel in my PJs, that's what I'm gonna do. Because the entire process of traveling is stressful and complicated as is. I don't have time to trying to figure out what cute outfit to put on to go to the airport. I got to be somewhere at a certain time, and my flight is about to take off. I don't have time to get cute right now. I'm throwing on these PJs. I'm throwing on this bonnet. My hair's probably done under this bonnet, and I'm trying to preserve it because that's typically why black women wear bonnets. I'm trying to preserve the hairstyle that I'm wearing. So if I'm getting to my location, I'll take the bonnet off when I get there. I don't make no judgments in the airport. Now, for the grocery store and out and about,
and out and about,
I still don't make no judgments, but I wouldn't do it.
That actually sounds a little bit like a judgment.
No, it's just a preference. That's your business. I'm not looking at you no type of way. I just first of all, I don't even really use a bonnet like that, except for when I get my hair freshly done. But even still, I typically take it off before I leave the house because I just got my hair done. I pay money for this. You gonna see it.
Pajamas?
I've never gone out in pajamas.
So is it bad? Because a lot of people are, being really harsh towards Monique. A lot of people are being harsh towards her. And I kind of feel that because I feel it the same way when people talk about, me, for example. I should be in here. I should have on a shirt with a collar on and maybe a tie and a jacket and so on and so forth. And I'm like, that's not how I'm feeling. That's not what I want to do. It's not who I am. And that's that. I kind of feel like it's the same way, but slightly different. I mean, I have to admit, at some point we have to say that there is a minimum standard. Like, imagine when you come in, you should have on a shirt. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Is it women bashing to ask women, in particular African-American women, to have a certain standard? Is that bashing? Or is it appropriate? 749-1230. I want to know what you think. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. That's Raven Mundy. She does not have on a bonnet.
Nope.
I'll be right back.
Because we've got so much to talk about. We're giving you more ways to listen at 101.5.
All right. Y'all know I don't typically do this, but I'm getting text messages about some stuff office-wise that I did not do. So let me run to my office and do some stuff, and I'll be right back.
What if you got down payment assistance or a discounted interest rate just for being a recent college grad, teacher, nurse, or veteran? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency offers this and more. And our programs are always available for eligible Ohioans, big city, small town, and everywhere in between. Find out if you qualify at myohiohome.org. That's myohiohome.org. Home ownership, ready when you are.
Finding care and resources for yourself or an older loved one can be complicated.
Council on Aging is here to help. For 50 years, we've been providing unbiased answers, advice, and resources to help older adults live with dignity and independence. We can help you understand all your options for care. Call Council on Aging at 513-721-1025 or visit www.help4seniors.org. That's help4seniors.org.
Hey, it's Lincoln Ware for my good friends over at Jeff Weiler Buick GMC on Route 18 in Florence, Kentucky. Stop by to talk to the folks out there and be sure to check out their huge inventory of new Buicks and GMCs. After you've done your research and you're ready to buy, always make Jeff Weiler your last stop because they're going to do everything possible to treat you right and get you behind the wheel today. And, of course, you get the legendary Jeff Weiler service. And keep in mind that their goal is to help everyone get the financing they need. Call or stop by and ask for Gene. That's right, Gene Strauss will make it happen for you. 859-525-8001. That's 859-525-8001. Gene Strauss will treat you right. Jeff Weiler, Buick GMC, Route 18 in Florence, or online at jeffweilerflorencebuickgmc.com. Remember, Jeff Weiler, Buick GMC in Florence, Kentucky.
2020 was a challenging year, but things are looking up, including the stock market's performance. But will it last? Hi, I'm Ken Moraif, Senior Advisor at Retirement Planners of America. If you are 50 or older, call us today to schedule a free consultation to learn more about our Invest and Protect strategy that is designed to help mitigate the risk of the stock market. Call us today at 800-375-1159.
All right, I am back. So, okay, 749-1230. That's how you get on board. Again, like, share, comment. Like, share, comment. Let me see. Cincy Tiger says, Monique can kiss my round melanation. People need to mind their business. Edward says, what's up? Ebony says, hey. B-Rap says, I agree with Monique. Them bonnets be looking like open parachutes on their head sometimes. All right. Martha said, most people come out with pajamas they slept in the night before. Okay. Nah, fam. Drip or drown on every occasion. I'm going to step in the airport looking like I'm getting on a private jet. Stewardesses be way too bad to be bummy. All right. Okay, they can't hear you because that microphone is not on. If I need to come in and turn it on, just push the one with the power button and hold it until it pops on. It's still not on. I need to come in and do it. No, you're not coming across on here. See, it's two of them. One of them got the little circle and everything.
With Emanuel Livingston on 101.5, The Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station.
I come in and do it. Oh, not Jimmy again.
Tell me what you need. Tell me it ain't good enough.
34 minutes after 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Just having a little conversation. And, you know, if you want to get in on the off-air conversation, you can go to the Facebook page, to the YouTube page, to the Instagram page, to the Twitch page and comment. But people seem to be mixed on it. People seem to be mixed. Some people really feeling what Monique is saying, like they are tired of seeing it. They tired of seeing it. And other people are like, it ain't nobody's business but mine. Why do you care? 749-1230. I want to know what you think. And as a sister, are you tired of hearing people criticize the sisters for stuff like this? Are you tired of it? Do you not see any merit in it? Or do you see the merit in it, but you're still just tired of it? Well, we'll get to it. 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. Barbara, you're on the buzz.
Hi, how are you both?
Hey, Barbara.
I agree with Monique. Not the way she said it was polite, but I have granddaughters and I have people that live around me. I think the younger girls are making a fashion statement. They even take time to buy those bonnets that match their clothes, and I think those house shoes, when their legs or they're hurting, they're going to wish they hadn't did that. But they have their own way of doing things. My personal opinion is that it looks as if they rolled out of bed, went to the store, then watched twice, did not wash anything. And I don't want to be them, because I don't know how clean they are. It doesn't look clean. To them it does, to me it don't. So I just step away from them, including my grandkids. They don't come around me like that. They change before they get to me. And as for the airport, a bonnet is for keeping your hair neat. And that's what they do. I can accept that. And blankets is cold at the airport. But as far as wearing them to the grocery store and everywhere else, I don't think you get around touching things looking like you just roll out of bed. And that's my opinion.
You got a right to your opinion, Barbara. All right. I appreciate it.
For sure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
If these people that are walking around in bonnets did just roll out of bed, what's the big deal?
People perceive that as not being clean.
But what does that have to do with you? What does my uncleanliness have to do with you?
You're exposing me maybe then to your uncleanliness.
But you walk past strangers every day having no clue whether or not they took a bath. Just because somebody dressed nice don't mean that they clean. You walk past strangers every day having no clue whether they washed their behind this morning, last night, 2 days ago, or not.
I'm trying to listen to the people because there is something here. There's something to this, right? There's something to the idea, and I am beginning to lean towards that. I don't even know.
It's all about optics. It's nothing. You're making assumptions based off of what somebody looks like, what they're wearing. You know no other information about this person other than what you see in front of your face. If that person doesn't care to prove to you that they're clean, that they take care of themselves, or any other assumptions that you're wanting to make about that person, that's a you problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You are feeling a way about what I'm doing with my body.
All right. Let me get Elia in here. Elia, you're on the buzz.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Raven. How are you?
We're well.
Good. I wish Raven could say it for herself that she's well. You know, because
come on.
I'm well, Elia.
Come on with the conversation. Stop.
Now, Emmanuel, the subject makes me want to go into my heart rather than stay in my head about it, because it's the way our sisters, our women, whatever they want to do in discovering themselves, coming to terms with who they are, getting to know who they are in a more intimate, a more spiritual way, to find answers to the questions that for so long have been unanswered.
Elia.
Okay, so like the 107-year-old sister, our elder out in Tulsa, who recalls the devastation of Tulsa.
Elia.
Oh, you don't have time to listen to...
I don't have time for nonsense. No, stop. I don't have time for nonsense. They searching for answers, and ain't nobody wearing their pajamas because they searching for answers. Oh. 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. Lawrence, you're on the buzz.
Well, little Emmanuel, another good conversation. And I knew you was going to put me. I don't mind being on the spot. I think wearing your bonnet, house shoes, some big fuzzy house shoes, and your pajamas. But I'm going to say this. I don't think an educated, sophisticated black woman will be out in the stores looking like that. Most sophisticated women will take time and pride and pleasure in getting themselves presentable to go out into the public. Now, if you ain't sophisticated, ain't nothing wrong with not being sophisticated.
But hold on, Lawrence. When you say sophisticated, that's a matter of what you perceive sophistication to be. Okay.
I think we can all agree on what's sophisticated.
No,
and not
we can't.
Some things are not open for argument.
No, you can't. Everyone does not agree on what is sophisticated. Everyone does not agree on what is sophisticated. What you might look at. What difference does that make? What difference does that make? You don't know who she is. You don't know what she looks like. You don't know how she dresses. None of that.
I ask you your opinion.
But it doesn't matter. That's not. Sophistication is up for debate. It is subjective.
Okay. We agree on that. Sophistication is objective.
Subjective.
My point of interest. I'm old school. I'm older than you. 63 in a couple months, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hey, check this out. I grew up in a household full of women. Number 12 out of 13, 7 sisters, 6 of them older.
All right.
I ain't never, and I used to sit at my sister's feet and listen to her and the girls. You just can't tell me that walking out looking ghetto, that's what it is, looking ghetto. The other sister we just called, she did it right. Walk out like you just crawled out of bed, just got through humping or whatever, and you run to the store. No, bro, ain't nothing old and ain't nothing new under the sun. It's just seen under a different light. Women and men been doing the same things all throughout time immemorial. But people, we done lost, like Naomi said, since when did we lose our self-worth, our identity? We better than that, man. We better than that. And me, I get pissed off and offended. I walked out of stores when I see nasty-looking hood, red, black women, and I'm going to just tell it, come down to Texas and y'all will see what I'm talking about.
And actually, hold on a second, Lawrence. I'm going to let you finish. But actually, listen to what Lawrence is saying. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to how he's characterizing the women who don't fit his particular standard of sophistication, right? If you don't fit his standard of sophistication, you a nasty, dirty, ghetto, hood rat, and all of that kind of stuff, because you're not sophisticated enough. And for me, hold on, I'm gonna let you finish, Lawrence. Lawrence, I'm gonna let you finish. But that's, I think, the problem that I have with it. Look, I understand some people just feel like there's a way that you present yourself and all of that kind of stuff. But some people add all of this Lawrence type stuff to it that somehow, if you don't fit with their mode of what a sophisticated black woman should be, you're not worth anything as a human. When you call somebody a hood rat, that means they're a rat from the neighborhood. He doesn't even view them as human. And so that's what he puts all of that stuff in there. That's the issue that I have. Okay, Lawrence, go ahead.
That's Emanuel.
Lawrence?
Emanuel.
Yes, Lawrence.
Aisha wants to tell you, she's 28, young black woman.
Oh, Lord.
She goes get her hair did every week, every other week. She ain't got no perms in it, you know, all this. But here's the point.
That's the measure of a real woman. Go get your hair did every other week and not have a perm.
Here's the point. Here's the point. This little young boy, and I'm going to give you the example of why I put it like I put it. In this plant down here, this little young black woman, 28 years old, educated, don't go outside unless she's presentable. And you ought to see the little young black brothers admiring her being a professional-looking woman. But then the brothers and sisters who work in the plant, they work with women who wear leggies. These women weigh 500 pounds, and they wear tight leggies showing everything that God gave them. These women look like something the train ran over and the dog buried, but they wear leggies. And
why do you hate black women so much?
Do y'all see?
And if you think I hate black women, you
do. Look at the way you talk about them.
Hey, if you ghetto, you're ghetto. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. If you're a ghetto hood rat, be a ghetto hood rat. And
do you even understand where the concept of being ghetto comes from?
Do you understand? You 28 years old and I'm going on 63, and I done lived more, seen more than you will ever.
And I'm supposed to care?
Life, young woman?
I'm supposed to care?
Hey, am I supposed to care what a young 28-year-old is?
Lawrence, hold on. But Lawrence, just because you're older than someone doesn't mean that you're right.
if I can live my life and I can put facts
It still
on the
doesn't
table.
mean that you're
You
right.
don't live 63 years, and your entire opinion on black women is if they're not sophisticated enough, they can't be nothing else but ratchet, hood, rat, nasty, dirty, unworthy of any kind of love or protection from you as a black man. So I have nothing to take from you. There is no advice at 63 that you can give me. There is no level or amount of experience that you've lived through that could tell me that you care anything about black women, because you don't. Every time you get a chance to talk bad about black women, you do. And that's why black women get tired of having conversations about like this. Why do you care about what I'm wearing? I don't reflect you. I reflect myself. You can think what you want to think about me, but I don't care. I don't have to care.
And that, what Lawrence was saying, becomes my issue. Now, everybody's not Lawrence. So everybody is not judging people's worth. Some of this really is judging the worth of a person based on
what they're wearing,
the clothes that they chose to put on. Some of it is. And I just think people need to kind of look at themselves and examine themselves and determine, when you're looking at it and you're having a problem, you see a sister with a bonnet on, you're judging her worth based on her having on a bonnet. You're judging whether or not she's fully human because she's got on pajamas. That's something you might want to look at. I get people have preferences. Look, I got preferences.
But your preferences pertain to you and what you do with your body. Well, you can't force your preferences on other people.
Sometimes they pertain to other people. I really don't like seeing the brothers with their pants sagging down. I don't like seeing it, but I don't think that makes them horrible human.
And you know what? I don't enjoy that either. Like, I don't even date guys who sag because I just don't find that attractive. But what I'm not going to do is walk up to a man or look at a man who's sagging and think, yeah, he ain't no good. He ain't got no job. He ain't worth nothing. Like, I don't even think like that. That's not even the first thing that come to my mind.
And I think that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. Got a few other things that I want to discuss. If you want to continue to discuss this, 749-1230. I would love to hear your thoughts. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
101.5 FM, 1230 AM. The Buzz of Cincinnati is...
All right. Let's see. Samuel says exactly, Emanuel. I'm assuming he's talking about the pants sagging. I don't like it. I don't like it. But who am I to like it? Who am I? That's how you want to dress. That's how you want to wear your clothes. It don't make you a bad person, et cetera, et cetera. Do you do-rag? Actually, I haven't worn the do-rag in a while. But, again, that doesn't make me a bad person, because from time to time, you know, when I got a haircut and I'm trying to work on the willies, it don't make me a bad person because I wear a do-rag. Not at all. Let's see. Go over here to the YouTube page. B-Rab's talking about Lawrence. Says Lawrence gonna stop calling Raven obese. Cinnamon says noise pollution, hang up on Lawrence. DeWanda Wise says God gave it to him, why not? She's talking about, Lawrence was talking about, he's seeing the 500-pound women in the leggings and showing everything God gave him. And DeWanda says God gave it to him, why not? I don't want to see everything God gave you, even if you know, what people perceive to be a nice, small frame woman. Leave something to the imagination. But that's just me. That's just me. Adoption says, I wouldn't be surprised if he got a white girl at home. He says he don't. Let me see, where was I? Cincy Tigress says, if I have a 20-hour flight, don't worry about how I dress for it. Don't run up on me with this mess. It won't end well. All right. Black Lion, he's on the YouTube page. Say, what's good? What's good, Black Lion? Tony says, afternoon, family. B-Rab says, was women wearing bonnets 15 years ago? I can't really remember. I don't really remember either. Somebody say, Raven supporting being dirty. She's supporting people being able to be themselves. Hold on, where we at? Go back over to the Facebook page. Hold on, I got to check the Twitter. Well, I mean the Instagram. Yeah, they've created fines and stuff like that for sagging pants and whatnot. Did we not? I don't know. We didn't get that mic on, did we? Did you push it again? Is it muted? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. It might be me. Yep, it was all me. You good now.
But you a genius, though.
Only different. Don't hate on my genius.
According to you, it ain't genius.
Let's see. So we're good there. Lady K says Lawrence makes my A itch. Even his voice make me sick. Community Associations Institute can help. Visit responsiblecommunities.com. Freeney Ross says, thank God our ancestors cared. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you can clarify, I would love it. Oh, gotta go back. Eight minutes to the top of the hour. 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock this afternoon. For right now, for this, at least for the next 8 minutes, we're talking about Monique. Monique says women wearing bonnets and pajamas in public. She don't like it, and she wants to know, when did we lose our pride? When did we lose our pride? And a lot of people really do look at the way you dress. If your dress is, now forgive me, some of my terminology may be wrong, but you'll know where I'm going. If you have assimilated in your dress to what American European culture has told us is nice dress, then you have pride in yourself as a black person of African descent.
To be honest, I see more, like, especially here in Cincinnati, because it is a college town and we have a number of colleges in the city. I see more young white kids walking around in pajamas and stuff like that than I do anybody. So I don't understand why this kind of stuff is always associated with black women. Why do black women always have to pay the price for something that's just like typically normal? But there's this hyper fixation on black women and what we need to do with our bodies and how we're supposed to represent the race and all this other kind of stuff that comes into play when you talk about stuff like this. And I think a lot of us fall into that and we play into it because of respectability politics, because we've been taught over time that in order for black people to be treated well or taken seriously in any kind of way, that we have to present ourselves like our parents tell us growing up, you got to be twice as good to get half the pay or whatever, or half the recognition. And it plays into a lot of different facets in our life, especially the way we represent ourselves and the way we dress. And so, yeah, judgments are made by both others and ourselves about what black people look like when we outmaneuvering in the world. And there's this and sometimes I agree that you can have your preference, but when your preference starts becoming judgments about your people, and it's a deep-rooted insecurity that you have about your people, that's when it becomes an issue. And I feel like that's what a lot of people have when it comes to this kind of bonnet stuff, and even the pants sagging thing. Because we done spent this whole, last hour talking about these bonnets, but black men walk around in do-rags all day long and nobody says anything.
People do.
I never hear that conversation. I always hear the bonnet conversation, but I never hear the do-rag conversation.
I heard the do-rag conversation so much. I never hear it. Yeah, I hear it. It exists.
But I feel like if we're gonna have the bonnet conversation, we should definitely be talking about the do. Because if we got to stop wearing bonnets, y'all got to stop wearing do-rags. It's essentially the same thing.
I don't know how you're trying to make this a battle of the sexes.
I'm not. I'm just saying, black women always typically get this hyperfixation about stuff like appearance.
See, I don't think it's necessarily a black woman thing, because just like you talked about the fines for black men wearing their pants hanging low, You can't get into the clubs with the certain shoes on.
I'm talking about the bonnet and the pajama thing,
right? And people don't. Well, I would put that right in line with the sagging pants.
So would I.
And the do-rag.
I would too.
And I don't see fines for women wearing bonnets or pajamas in public. I don't see fines for women when you can see, the draws sticking up out. I'm sorry, their thongs sticking up out the top of their pants. That's basically sagging. But when women do it, oh, that's so sexy. When men do it, oh, fine them $100.
And that's a problem. I agree.
What I'm saying is, it's not a matter of, it's all people picking on the black woman. It's a matter
black people
of,
in general.
I think it's a black people thing. And sure, this conversation came about because it was Monique
addressing
talking about black women. But black men get their fair share of it. And again, I believe it's a matter of people were told that you need to assimilate into this society if you black. And what this society says is acceptable, that's what you need to do if you black. Wear a shirt and tie, whether or not that's culturally appropriate for where you are and where you stand, but that's what this society says do. So this society has given us standards. And if you've decided that you're not rolling with this society's standards, in particular, a lot of older people look at you and they look down on you because you're making us all look bad by, this is not what they say, but this is how what I hear when I hear them say it. You're making us look bad by not fitting in with the societal standards and not, I don't want to use any of the words that I want to use because they all sound a little too harsh. Not assimilating enough. I'll just say that. You're being too individual. And the white man has told you how to dress. Damn it, dress that way. Because if you don't, we all look bad. And that bothers me. All right, 749-1230. Is Senator Thomas on this conversation or was he wanting to talk about something different?
He said he wanted to talk about this.
All right. State Senator Cecil Thomas, you're on the bus.
Man, I told Raven, y'all make my drive to Columbus so much fun, man. Listen to some of the stuff coming out of some of these folks' mouths. Lawrence is in my age group. I'm a little older than him quite a bit. I'm 68. And but Lawrence is basically articulating what has been the assimilation, as you speak about. Going back to the 50s and 60s and 70s. If you can remember back about the Barbie dolls and how you couldn't even find a black Barbie doll back then, but those dolls were a depiction of what a white American should look like. And then they also had the Barbie dolls that were men. They had the square chin and the six pack and all of these things. So they fed that into our mindset, and anything that if you're an African American that steps outside of that, then you're not acceptable in the eyes of the masses. And so we bought into that. And if you think back, there was that experiment that was done with the child, and they put the black doll and the white doll in front of the child, and they said, choose the one, and the child chose the white doll over the black doll simply because so much of our assimilation has been embedded in us. And now, moving forward to where we are now, Raven's generation, and though even some even before Ravens have said, this is ridiculous, this is unacceptable. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to be proud of who I am, and all this stuff about hood rats and ghetto and all that stuff is just her generation is not accepting that. That's an indication of being down on yourself as well as the people that you also represent. And so I can even speak to being a police officer. It was illegal for a police officer to have an afro. And if you came into the police department wearing an afro, you were basically told to cut your hair, and that was the norm. And when they showed you the type of hair style you had to have, it was that same Barbie doll, I should say the male Barbie doll kind of appearance. And finally, a black officer challenged that. His name is Don Hudson. He challenged that theory of being disciplined and forced to cut your hair, and it went to federal court, and he won. And that ended that whole scenario of having to look like them in order to be a police officer. So I say all that to say that I'm proud to see how Raven is standing up for her generation, because we can't allow the Lawrence's kind of thinking to keep getting passed down from generation to generation. That's what keeps us where we are now.
All right.
And just want to throw that out there.
Cecil Thomas, I appreciate the call.
All right. Take care.
All right. That's State Senator Cecil Thomas. I got to take a quick break. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
WDBZ, Cincinnati, and Urban One Station. Minority controlled and operated.
All right. Let's see. There are some on the Facebook page who agree, some who still don't agree. People believe if you want to cover your head, use a scarf, a head wrap, or a turban. But if you're using something not approved by them, then something's wrong with you. That's the part that I don't get. Like, you got a turban on, according to you cool. Angela, according to you cool with a scarf, a head wrap, or a turban. But if you got on a bonnet, you part of the problem. Who are you to tell somebody that what they want to cover their head with is inappropriate? Because somebody will see you in your turban and say, oh, that's inappropriate. Oh, no, they're wrong because you've determined that the turban is okay. Somebody will look at your scarf and say, that's inappropriate. Oh, no, they're wrong because you've determined that the scarf is okay. You know, just, it's frustrating to me to hear people tell other people that what's okay to them is the only thing that's okay. Three minutes after 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you didn't know, I live stream, so you can catch me now. Go to Facebook. Just type in my name. It'll come up. You can go to YouTube. Just type in my name. It'll come up. You can go to Instagram. Just type in my name. It'll come up. And you can go to Twitch. Just type in my name. It'll come up. My name, Emanuel Livingston. 1 M, Emanuel Livingston. And join in on the conversation. I'm learning some stuff on the Facebook and on the YouTube. So if you're on Instagram, I haven't figured out exactly how to see your comments yet. But I'm going to figure it out. And involve you in this conversation as well. 749-1230. That's how you get on board. Oh, my Instagram live ended? What the heck? I guess that means I have to start it back up. But before I do that, let me go to Joyce. Joyce, you're on the buzz.
Hi, how are you doing today, Emanuel and Raven?
Joyce, I'm doing okay.
Good. Well, we hear Cecil Thomas. Sounds like he's woke now. I'm glad to hear that. And that he has a good opinion about younger African Americans and what they're doing in the society. And we know that Lawrence hates black people. He hates black women especially because he's already told us his wife is gate-legged. If that's something great. And that
he did say that.
Right. And black women whose thighs may touch you may have a big butt. There's something wrong with that. But we know black men like big thighs, and they like a big butt too, if you happen to have it. And if you don't, they like that. So there's no standards. Lawrence is gate-legged. That's just your preference. But that doesn't mean that other black women aren't good. And see, there's the part. What I think with Monique, She said she was talking as an aunt. Aunties are talking different than normal people. She's just talking about she sees her little group with little younger people that she sees and they look a little off, a little like they did roll out the bed, maybe didn't wash. She just wants them to take a little pride. But I don't think she's talking about, she did say, you don't have to have on the whole outfit. You could have a T-shirt and some jeans and some shoes and look nice and clean. She's just saying they look a little rough around the edges and she thinks they could maybe wash the sleep out of their eyes. I think that's where she's coming from, auntie, because we know, just like Raven said, certain kids who go to certain little schools, and they come in, the PJs, they started that a long time ago. We didn't even start that look. They started that wearing pajama bottoms. Okay, so we've seen that from them forever. Nobody's talking about. I don't even think their parents were talking about. Jimmy got out to bed and went on out. So it's just that, our culture calls for us to live up to a lot of high standards. And nothing's wrong with that we want our people to look the best and be the best. But we have to know the best doesn't mean that if they don't look a certain way, they're not intelligent.
Right.
Or they can't articulate. And that's the problem with Lawrence, because he thinks they have big thighs, they have knock knees. And because you have knock knees, you can't be a neuroscientist, or you can't be a doctor, or you can't be a lawyer, or you can't be an engineer, you can't be a wife or a mother. You can be any of those things. And so Monique was just talking about it as an auntie, and I'm somebody's aunt. And when I see something, what an aunt might do. My nephews, if the pants are a little bit too low, I don't mind them being a little low. But if I can see your whole crack, I may say, can you pull up a little bit for me so I can see your butt today? But I understand there are people who are counter every culture, and they have a right to be. And they can be extremely intelligent and creative. And so we do have to stop always judging. And, we heard the saying, judging the book by the cover, because there is something else on the next page, and there's something else to get to, and we have to finally start getting to that next page. But we will look at the cover a little bit and make a little judgment. But traveling, that's when she's seeing these people traveling in the airport, and she just wants her ladies to look good. That's her opinion, and that's what she said. I'm an auntie. I'm saying it from my aunt, and I'm an auntie too. And so she's looking at it like that, but she's not. She said she was doing it in love. She wasn't just making a harsh judgment on black women. So, and black men with the pants sagging and do-rag. I've talked to a lot of intelligent guys who have that on, but usually they're kind of young. Usually when you get about 40, you should probably pull your pants up a little bit. Your butt might be rusty, but there's a little time, limit on some of these outfits that any of us may wear if you're not built for it. But the conversation is good, Emanuel. Keep it up. We're enjoying ourselves today. We're a little lighthearted, and sometimes we need it, because the last thing I just said, I heard about a man who was struggling with the police, and he didn't get shot. The story was on your station, so maybe you'll delve into that later. Did you know which one I'm talking about?
I don't.
The man ran his car into the garage and rushed into the house. You'll hear it.
Okay.
And then he struggled with the police, but he wasn't shot.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Emanuel. Good talking.
Joyce, I
Bye-bye.
appreciate the call. All right, Joyce. Yeah, I'm down with what Joyce is saying. And for me, the main takeaway, it's really the same takeaway that I had before. Don't be so judgmental of people. There's one thing to say, I don't like that. I don't care for that. But when you get into, you don't care about yourself and you don't have no pride and all of that kind of stuff based on your personal preferences, that's judgment. Even though I'm not necessarily always against judgment, sometimes you got to make some judgment calls.
That's part of life. But when it comes to what somebody else got on, that has no effect on you whatsoever.
Yeah.
Why?
Let me go back to the phone. Bruh, man, you're on the bus.
What's happening, man?
Hey.
Ain't good talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I work in a school setting, man, and some of the parents that drop their kids off at school is just something else, man. There's no shame in the game. This one lady brought her kids up there, and what's that character that Eddie Murphy played in the cartoon Shrek, the donkey?
Uh-huh.
She came up there with her donkey pajamas on, man, with the tail and everything, the hood on and everything. And
Okay.
she wore it on a continuous basis. And if your mother would have dropped you off in a pair of pajamas like that, you know what's gonna happen, don't you?
No, what's gonna happen?
The kid's gonna let you have it.
Oh.
Your schoolmate's gonna let you have it, Emmanuel. They're gonna send you home crying.
I don't know about that.
Because you know how strong the cap game was back then.
I wouldn't have been worried about it, but
Y'all come on, Emmanuel. They would send you home crying.
no, they wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. I wouldn't have been worried about it even a little bit. But that's just me. That's just me. I understand that some people would.
That's your elder statesman talking.
No, that's just the truth.
But back in the day, Emmanuel, they would have told. They would have made you cry.
If you say so.
Yeah, but like I say, man, I see some unusual sights, man.
Hold on, but let me ask you this, bruh, man, and even Raven. Do y'all perceive that as different? Somebody showing up, like, you in the car. So that means, maybe everybody was running late or whatever. You got up and had ready to get them in the car. You want to get them there on time. You put them in the car. You drive them there. They hop out.
They were coming. It ain't about them hopping out, Emmanuel. They would come inside the building and stay for a while. Walk up and down the hall. I think
you might be making that up, bruh, man.
No, Emmanuel. No, I'm not. Go ahead meeting with certain staff members, Emmanuel.
I think you might be making that up. You making that up. She didn't come. You didn't see no lady come to the school to have school meetings with the teacher in donkey pajamas.
Emmanuel, I am not lying.
Okay, I'm not going to say you lying. I'm going to just say I don't believe you, okay? I don't believe you.
Emmanuel, believe it, bruh. I'm there.
I can believe it, but I still wouldn't care.
It's not about me. It's not about me caring. It's about them caring about what they look like when they come up there.
But if they don't care, then why?
Raven, they should.
Why? She's there. If I accepted what you're saying is factual, which I don't.
I guess that's y'all. What y'all call yourself, millennials?
I'm not a millennial.
I'm a millennial.
But hold on, bruh man. Hold on, bruh man.
But I want to understand why my millennial
hold on a second, Raven. Hold on.
From
But
yours.
bruh man, if she's coming to the school to meet with the teachers about her children and the success of her children, what different? Clearly, she cares about her children. She's there. She's participating. She's involved. What difference do it make what she's wearing while she's involved?
Emmanuel, come on, man.
Help me. Tell me what difference does it make? Would you rather? Because I know a lot of people believe they won't say it, but a lot of people would rather her be dressed to the nines. Is that what?
No,
is that
it
the
ain't
term?
about being
Be dressed to the nines and don't come to the school.
To the one.
Be dressed to the nines and don't come to the school, and she won't be judged nearly as harsh as she is not being involved in her children's life if she looked the right way. For a lot of y'all.
Well, I'll let you stick to your point of view, and I just stick to mine. So be it.
Bruh, man, I appreciate your call. I still don't believe you, but I appreciate the call. All right. That's bruh, man. He said she came with the dog. I just don't believe it. Again, it might be true.
I believe it because I've seen stuff like that before. But even in those moments, I just didn't care. Like, you handling business that ain't got nothing to do with me. Go on about your life in your donkey pajamas.
And look, so again, shouldn't we be? What did Dr. Martin Luther King say? I'm not going to do the impersonation.
Please.
My voice is not there yet.
It was never there.
But didn't he talk about judging people by the content of their character? Now, he said not the color of their skin, but I'm certain he would have thought not by the clothing that they wear. And if you've got a person she's involved, she's at the, you know how many parents don't go to school and meet with their children's teachers? She's at school meeting with the teachers. And she's being judged for her clothing choice.
And too, you don't know what she been through before she got to the school. She might have worked a 12-hour shift the night before and woke up that morning and realized, dang, I gotta go up to the school. all right, y'all, get up, time to go. And just didn't have the energy to do all that other stuff and was like, but I need to make sure that my kids are straight. So I'm going to go up here in these doggy pajamas and make sure that my kids are straight. And then I'll go home and clean myself up and worry about everything else.
I just don't believe the doggy pajamas.
I believe it.
Let me take a quick break. Kathy, Charles, Reese, all on the way. I got a few other stories that I definitely want to get to. One about this former Black Lives Matter leader. I'm vexed by this.
What, her leaving?
Him. No, not the one leaving the organization to pursue other things. This is one out of St. Paul who announced that he left. And he talks about having been on the inside and the ugly truth of the Black Lives Matter movement. And it vexes me. But we'll talk about it. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
101.5 The Buzz and
all right. Let's see. I am back. And again, if this is your first time joining, this is the portion of the show where I communicate, try to interact with the people watching on the stream. This is like bonus. It's bonus stuff. But I don't know. Somebody asked, are y'all being serious? I'm being serious. Brendan says it's embarrassing, E-Man. I wouldn't do that to my children. Now, look, if your children say it's embarrassing, that's something you take up with your children. But that's not what we're talking about, in all honesty. We're talking about how people are, or at least I'm talking about how people are judging people based on the fabric that they choose to drape over them. Because when you think, it's all just fabric styled in a particular way. And we're judging people based on what style the fabric that they have covering their body is in. We're determining whether or not these are good people based on what they chose to. The one, and again, this is if you believe it. Quintano says believe it. But okay. If you believe the story, she meeting with her kids. I turned it back on. It went back off. I'm not gonna fight with that Instagram live. I'll figure it out. Oh, she says it is back up. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight with it. It ain't gonna distract me too much. But yeah, she's meeting with the teachers. Ain't that what we want parents to do? Be involved, meet with the teachers, show that you care. Well, yeah, we want that, but we want you to do it in the right clothing. Like, come on, y'all. Come on. And again, I get if you don't like it. If you don't think it's a good look, I get that. If you don't think that other people is going to think it's a good look, I get that. But we judging people based on their clothing. We're judging people based on their clothing. Come on. Who is this? Brenda. She wants to move on. Brenda, if you want to move on, you're welcome to. But people are online. I'm not just going to say because Brenda tired of us talking about not being judgmental. We're not talking about this no more. So, I get it. Let's see. 513 dude says lack of concern with appearance and or cleanliness is a sign of mental health issues. Why are y'all okay with poor appearance and hygiene? Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't hear you. Okay. What did you say?
I said it definitely can be, but you still can't make that assumption.
And again, because I choose to walk out the house in pajamas and a bonnet, Number one, that don't mean that I have a mental issue. And it don't mean that I don't care about my appearance. It just means that I'm not using the same standard for my appearance that you use for my appearance. That's all it means. It's hard to get this stuff through some people's heads, though. Because they feel like this is the way I see it. Thus, this is the way it is for everybody. And then if you don't see it the way that I see it, something wrong with you. You don't love yourself. You ain't got no pride, so on and so forth. But maybe.
But that's the crazy thing too, because the same thing happens in reverse when somebody is too done up. Like when you see a black woman and she got, y'all like to say black woman got too much makeup on, or her clothes are too tight, or why you got on all them designer labels? Who you think you is? Like it's that same energy that gets brought. So it really don't matter what I do with my body or how I dress. You always gonna have an opinion based on your preference, and if your preference doesn't match mine, you're not gonna like what I'm wearing. Period. So why does it matter that much to you? Worry about yourself.
Fran, that's my sister. She says, don't people choose their clothing to reflect their individualism? Well, sure. But because my individualism doesn't fit with what you think it should be, doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't mean I don't care about myself. It just means I actually like this. I like being comfortable.
And I'm a whole stranger that you saw on the street for one moment.
It doesn't
Who says that I walk around like this
mean
all the
I'm
time?
bad. Minutes after 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. Here, I'm going to do this one day. On the other side of the glass, that's Raven Mundy. She's your favorite millennial. Here's what I'm going to do one day. I'm going to wear like a shirt and tie up in here. I'm going to wear a shirt, jacket, tie, the whole nine. Look like I'm straight up off Fox News. I bet more people online will agree with everything I say, no matter what I say. Because I'm dressed in a way that they respect more.
But you know, if you do that, you got to do the reverse, right? You got to come in, sagging pants, do-rag, all that. You got to do both.
Well, they won't be able to see my pants.
I mean, but you can wear a do-rag.
I could wear a do-rag.
Because you have to have the control, which is your normal. And then you have the two experiments. You have the respectability politics version of Emanuel, and then you just got what people perceive to be the don't love yourself Emanuel.
Yeah. Right now, I'm somewhere in between. 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. All right, let me get Kathy in here, and then I want to talk about this Black Lives Matter guy. Kathy, you're on the buzz.
Hey, Emanuel, how are you?
Kathy, I'm doing good. What about you?
Good. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. So,
I'm getting ready to talk out of both sides of my neck on this issue.
All right, I understand that.
So what I'll say is I'm going to give you an example of something that happened to me, because the majority of the time, up until COVID, I'm dressed in a professional, kind of conservative way through the day. But then when I get home, it's usually jeans or whatever else. I'll just say that I dress the way that, most African Americans do. I like fashion. So there's this one store that I frequent a lot, and most of the time I'm professionally casual when I am in the store.
All right.
But this particular store has a lot of ethnic, African American gear, I should say, things that I like to wear, and I purchase them there. So on this particular day, I was dressed very casual. I had on what I like to call my thought flops. And if you don't know what those are, that's the little fuzzy flip-flops.
She said thought flops.
Okay.
That's what I call them.
All right.
So
and it's a shame because I know exactly what you talk about.
Yes, I had on my little cute yellow thought flops and a little purse that matched, a little furry bag to match with a heart on it. So, Raven, you probably know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I had on a graffiti print, T-shirt dress with a jean jacket that was ripped up. That's how I dress when I'm at home or in my element or, kicking it. And I'm a woman of a certain age, but I still like that brand of fashion when I'm not professional. And so when people see me out who are used to seeing me in a suit or dressed up, they looking at me sideways. Like, is that? But I'm a person, I don't care what people think about me. I don't allow myself to be offended in that way. I'm not out naked. Dressed comfortably. I should be able to do that. But on this particular day, I'm in that outfit in the store, and the person who normally runs the store was not there that day, or she wasn't in the store at that moment, I should say. Somebody else was running the store. So when I walk in the store dressed that way, I got treated differently.
Okay.
So, first of all, they're kind of following me around the store and thinking that they're being, inconspicuous. So I was upset about that. They looked me up and down to see what I had on, or maybe to make sure I wasn't going to, or I hadn't stolen what I had on off of the rack or the wall in the store.
Okay.
That made me angry. So I was really offended by that, and I swore I would never go back in that store, and I haven't been. But upon that, the lady who is normally there when I'm in the store, she came from the back and spoke, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" So as soon as that happened, the other person was there, their whole demeanor changed, as if to say, "Oh, she's okay." So I know how they treat other people who come in the store who may not, dress in the way that they feel like they don't have to worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an issue for me. But the other side of that, now let's talk about the other side of my mouth. I say absolutely not to wearing pajamas and bonnets outside of the house. There's a whole section in the store that is for pajamas. There's a reason that those things are not in with the other clothing. They are to be worn to bed or inside the confines of your home.
Says who, though? Hold on. Let's really break this down for just a second. And again, just for a moment. So if I choose to wear jeans and a T-shirt and sleep in them, I'm wrong?
No, you're not.
But that's not what they was made for. This is what you're saying, that there's a reason why, because those are made to sleep in. But and the point, of course, that I'm making by saying that is, look, just because I don't take what their standard, whoever they is, the fashion designers, society, whatever, I don't take their standard and put it on me, doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It just means that I'm different.
And I agree with you, and then I disagree with you, because the other part is I am guilty of leaving the house in maybe my pajama bottoms and put on a different shirt if I'm going to, say, for instance, we've decided in my house that we want a McDonald's biscuit sandwich or something. Because it's so close, as long as I don't have to go in, I've been guilty of doing that. So I don't want, for me, it's not so much of what other people are looking at me as, but and when I see people do it, I see it to the point to where I feel like, okay, and this might be being judgmental.
All right.
But I'm looking at you like you done rolled out the bed looking like you haven't washed your tail, and you all up in here touching on these groceries and everything else. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't.
Right.
Evidently, it's a fashion trend now, which I think is silly. But, and I'll say this too, I've worked in the classroom in the school, so the gentleman who called talked about the parents coming up in their pajamas. I've witnessed that as well. But I have students. They'll be dropping off a student who might, the schools that I've worked in, they wear a uniform, but they may have tried to come in a bonnet, but the schools don't allow it. Sometimes they get past, security with it. I don't allow it in the classroom. And for me, it's not so much of me judging them, but it's because I know society will judge them, and it could keep them from, getting a job. I work with kids.
But you know that's you perpetuating what society is gonna do. We can't look at society and say, boy, society is wrong for judging people based on how they dress. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna really judge people based on how they dress to show them how wrong society is for judging you based on how you dress.
But you know what? This is what I tell my kids. You can't do some of the things that I'm able to do now. At some point, when I was younger, I had to kind of somewhat assimilate or, go along with what it was until I created a situation for me to be able to say, the hell with what they say. I don't have to do that. So you can't send a 16-year-old or even a early 20-some-year-old out into the world and not teach them how to get ahead or get what they need until they don't have to do that anymore.
Kathy?
So I'm serious now.
Look, Kathy, I appreciate you. I got to take a break. And I agree with you and I disagree with you. So I guess I'm going to respond out of both sides of my neck. But I do appreciate your call.
Can I ask you a question really quickly?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and you can answer or not. So if you were going out of the house to wherever with your family, are you okay with your daughter and your wife leaving the house in their pajamas and a bonnet?
If my wife wanted to leave the house in a bonnet and pajamas, she a grown woman. She can do what she want to do. It's not going to bother me. And if I'm bothered with it, then that's something I would say to her, like, well, I don't know what I would say. I'm embarrassed being married to you. If you walk outside in a bonnet, that wouldn't go over well. So I wouldn't have a problem with it, though, realistically.
Okay.
She's a wonderful woman. She's a beautiful woman. The only issue I would have is, pajamas kind of show a little too much. And I'll be like, people can see the stuff that I'm only the one who's supposed to see. So.
Right. It leaves nothing to the imagination when they do. And that's a whole other conversation as well. But, and I think the bonnet thing, too, and I've heard this from young people who insist on wearing them, and it makes you lazy and feel like it's okay not to take that extra time to groom yourself. For yourself, not for anybody else. But you should want to look in the mirror and be like, oh, okay.
And maybe they do. See, maybe their standard is not the same as yours. Like, oh, my hair got to be a certain way. And you look at yourself and you like, oh, yeah, girl, you working it. And they look at themselves with the bonnet on and they like, oh, yeah, girl, you working it. Y'all have different
I'm hanging
standards.
up on you now.
All right. It's just different. All right, let me take this quick break. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
All the news and information you need is just a click away at thebuzzcincy.com.
All right, let's see here. Nikki says she'd beat you up and stuff the bonnet down your throat. Yes, she would. Yes, she would. I would never say that to her. I would never say that. If she wanted to go out in a bonnet and her pajamas. I don't see. I guess I really don't understand y'all. I really don't understand y'all. Somebody said something on here that I wanted to respond to, but I don't know what it is. Some other stuff happened that I couldn't really remember. Some other stuff happened. I really can't remember what they said. But again, if this is your first time, this is me interacting with the audience. Black Lion says, E-Man, it's funny how some of these black people have become so Caucasian indoctrinated, not realizing how subconsciously they've become as racist as the ones who taught them to be racist. Yeah. No, that's what I was going to say. One of the things that I was going to say is that she's saying, Kathy, the last caller, was saying, like, you get people a certain way. You teach young people a certain way because when they get out in the world, there's a certain way that they got to move. I understand that. But y'all know that, like, when I was coming up, one thing my daddy used to get on me about all the time, because, he was a suit wearer, suit and tie. Nice coat, hat, the whole nine. Like, that was how he got down. And I just never could get with that. I just could never get with that. And he used to say stuff to me like when you go for a job interview, when you go out there in the world, they want you to dress a certain way for a job interview. And when you do this, you can't just get out there and do things your way and blah, blah, blah. And I guess I kind of, gave into that. And I remember wearing suits and ties and all that stuff to job interviews. And then not too long after that, another generation of people came along and they was like, you know what? We not wearing suits and ties and stuff to work. We not wearing suits and ties and stuff to job interviews. That's not how we gonna get down. And because like that entire generation made up their mind that wasn't how they was getting down, society changed. And like even here, the salespeople don't wear suits and ties. They might wear a jacket and a button up, but very rarely do I see anybody with a tie on around here. When you come for an interview, you don't have to wear ties and all of that kind of stuff. You don't. I understood what my dad was saying, but what I'm saying is, and what a lot of these younger people said was, that's y'all standard. That's not our standard. We gonna rock our standard. And if y'all want us, y'all roll with us. If y'all don't, then we'll do our own thing. And corporate America had to get on a program instead of trying to beat them into corporate America's program. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Fellas, if you were single, would you talk to a woman wearing pajamas and a bonnet at the store? Yeah, I would. Would she, the type of looking, she's got the look that I want or that I like or that I'm into at that moment. Yeah. Yes. But that's just me, Cinnamon. That was from the YouTube page. Cinnamon wanted to know that. Fellas, if you out there and you single, would you talk to a woman wearing pajamas and a bonnet at the store? "37 minutes after." 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati, we're your talk station. I'm Emanuel Livingston. Someone on the Facebook page says, "E-Man, you just playing devil's advocate." I'm not playing devil's advocate. Someone else on the YouTube page said, "Fellas, if you were single, would you talk to a woman wearing pajamas and a bonnet at the store? Is she fine?" Yeah. Yes. No doubt about it. Hold on, Victor and Carol. Hold on a second. They want to talk about this, but I got to bring this up. Former Black Lives Matter leader sounds off on group's ugly truth. Rashad Turner, the founder of Black Lives Matter in St. Paul, Minnesota, recently released a video in which he calls out the group's ugly truth, by which he meant their positions on family and education. He says, "In 2015, I was the founder of Black Lives Matter in St. Paul. I believe the organization stood for exactly what the name implies. Black lives do matter. However, after a year on the inside, I learned they had very little concern for rebuilding black families. And they cared even less about improving the quality of education for students in Minneapolis. That was made clear when they publicly denounced charter schools alongside the teachers union." He says, "I was an insider in Black Lives Matter, and I learned the ugly truth. The moratorium on charter schools does not support rebuilding the black family, but it does create barriers to a better education for black children." He went on to say a lot of other stuff. And there is a video out there. It's like almost 2.5 minutes long. He talks about his education and how educated he is and everything. And, he started Black Lives Matter. And then he goes on to say the stuff that I just read. And, a few other things about how Black Lives Matter's goal is to break down the black nuclear family, so on and so forth. And I'll tell you why this vexed me. Look, okay, if that's your position, and you felt like, I started this chapter of Black Lives Matter, and because I started this chapter, I felt like I was on the inside, and then I learned some things on the inside that didn't jive with me, so I had to leave the organization and join a different organization that more aligns with my views. I got no problem with that. No problem whatsoever. But you got to drop a video? You got to drop a video bashing the organization? And sometimes I wonder why. Why do we feel like, and when I say we, I don't just mean black people. I mean we people who are seeking that attention, I guess. No, we as black people. Why do some of us as black people have to do that to other black people? Dude, if you want to leave, you know that your opinions, your views, your morals, your values don't align with the organization. It doesn't mean you got to bash the organization. It doesn't mean you have to give the enemies of Black Lives Matter ammunition to come after Black Lives Matter. You could just leave. And if somebody asks you why'd you leave, you can say, like, look, so some of the things that, you know, I learned that they stand for don't align with some of the things that I stand for. And so I figured I would just go join an organization that aligned more. There's no ammunition in there. You know, Black Lives Matter as an organization, as a statement, as a movement, as a concept is under fire right now. Like, you started a chapter, so you gotta know what's at stake. And you just decided, I don't really care what's at stake. I don't care.
Do you think that it is beholding of our black leaders, our leaders who are involved in these organizations, if they have issues with these organizations, do you think that it's appropriate for them to just silently step away? Because I think that there is some merit in coming out and giving, because people who are not, you know, fully invested and involved in these organizations, they might not know this stuff. So don't you think it's important for people to know that?
I don't think it's important for you to make a video, to drop a video bashing an organization. No, I don't think that.
So you would prefer if this would have been handled behind closed doors? I'm
not even necessarily saying that. Like, if for whatever reason you gotta leave, I mean, honestly, I think I've already. If you gotta leave, you leave, and you can say, here's what I would probably say. Number one, I wouldn't do a video, but I would probably say to anyone who asked, like, look, we just don't agree on everything. I didn't know everything about the organization. I should have looked more into it before I got into it. And if you're thinking about getting into it, I just suggest look into it and make sure that you believe what they believe. And if you don't join that organization, join a different organization that lines up with what you believe. But I would say look into it for yourself, because I didn't look into it well enough to know what was going on. That, to me, that's not bashing the organization. That's not talking about the ugly truth of what's going on inside the organization.
Does he even give an ugly truth, or is this just like a buzzword?
Well, I mean, that was his ugly truth, that they don't believe in what he terms as school choice. And that according to him, someone in the organization or some literature in the organization says that they want to do away with the black nuclear family. And again, even if that's true, you don't have to come out bashing them. That's all. I have a problem with that. Just leave. Now he's a part of a different organization that is championing school choice. And I'm down with that.
Yeah, that was definitely something he didn't even make a video about. But again, we live in this time where everything is a chance to go viral. So it is what it is. At this point, I fully expect these kind of reactions to things. Like, we're never going back to a time where things get done behind closed doors. It's too convenient to just turn on the camera and start talking.
It is, again, it just feels to me like you can do things better. And of course, this story was found on Fox News. So it goes to my point that there are people who are looking to bash Black Lives Matter. And when you give them ammunition, It's big story on Fox News. That's a hint and a half for you that what you're doing is not going to be used for good. Because some stuff is bigger than just you. If they can do away with the notion that Black lives actually matter, do away with the work that a number of people who proclaim that Black lives matter, that they're attempting to do, they'll take what you said and roll with it to roll over the movement that you call yourself being passionate about, passionate enough to start a chapter. So yeah, I don't like that. 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. When I come back, Victor and Carol, you guys are coming up, and I want to know what you think about the Black Lives Matter guy, if you have any thoughts that you choose to share. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Russ Parr.
You big old pimp.
Richard. Hold on, I got to mute Raven's mic. She's in there answering phones. Richard on the Facebook page says it sounds like he worked for the man. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. Robin says Fox News. Yeah, Fox News. That's what I'm saying. If Fox News picks up the story, picks up your video and puts it on their website, that's a hint that you did something wrong. You did something wrong. Nikki says, why is that an ugly truth? I think the thing that he was trying to say, calling it an ugly truth, which he's playing to that kind of school choice type of thing, the whole he's saying they're not for educating Black people, and they're not for reuniting or keeping together Black families. And again, if you feel that way, okay. Let's step out and get with an organization that's for education and keeping together the Black family. But some stuff is bigger than you and your personal views. I mean, it would be, and I look, I know this is not a perfect analogy. But if, people knew what Dr. King, maybe some of his extramarital exploits during the civil rights struggle, at the peak of the civil rights struggle, and then came out dropping videos talking about, well, I can no longer participate in the civil rights struggle in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference because Dr. King is doing this and Dr. King is doing that. It's bigger than what Dr. King is doing, personally. It's bigger than that. And if that bothers you, your spirit, your morality, you say, I'm stepping away from the SCLC and I'm joining with this organization. Because the goal is still the same. But I don't want to tear down the work that the SCLC is doing because they're getting things accomplished. But for some reason, some of us can't seem to get that through our heads. Awante says BLM is cover for other hidden agendas. Though Black lives do matter, I don't support the organization because some of the other things they support, I don't necessarily support. And that's cool. Then don't join. Join an organization that more aligns with what you support. But now if you go out and join it and then put out a video talking about how bad it is, you part of the problem.
Yeah, I did know that. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Right, of course.
Yeah, I knew that. Did you know that strollers have the right of way? Oh yeah, I knew that.
Walter says white people stay on cold. We have a hard time doing that. 513 dude says it's on their website. Check it out.
Hey guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid?
In Shell Wise, I hope I'm not butchering you. This is on the YouTube page. Says that man Lucifer 2021.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right seat.
Brenda say we are our own worst enemy. Sad. And sometimes that is the case. Sometimes that is the case. Over here on the thank you, Grippos1. New follower on the Twitch page. I appreciate it. And good afternoon, by the way. Wante says the video was uncalled for. Just don't be a part. Exactly. All right, let me get back to these phones. Ten minutes to the top of the hour. 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. Welcome back to the afternoon experience. My name is Emanuel Livingston. My title is the King of Talk. On the other side of the glass, her name is Raven Giselle Mundy.
I look like a Giselle today.
Her title is Your Favorite Millennial. She claims she's your favorite millennial.
Because I am. That's not a claim. That's a fact.
All right. Why you don't be mad at me? I just said.
How was that mad? I was just making a simple correction, sir.
I'm sorry. I was just playing into the
angry black woman
narrative
trope
that people keep putting out there about you.
That I'm an angry black woman.
And I apologize for that. I should not have done that.
It's okay. Ain't no escaping it now.
Wrong.
Ain't no escaping it now.
749-1230. That's the number to get on board. Got a few things on the table, talking a little bit. The conversation about Naomi Osaka, that's still on the table if you wanted to discuss Miss Osaka. Also, the conversation about Coco Gauff, that's out there as well. We talked a little bit about Monique, basically telling the sisters, like, show some pride. Don't be out there in a bonnet and pajamas. And I'm trying to have the conversation. I'm trying to let you guys know that, and I'm having a hard time getting it through some of y'all heads, judging people based on what they wear is not the way to go. Not the way to go. Well, some of y'all hard-headed. And just want to keep doing it. Let me go back to the phone. Victor, you're on the buzz.
Hey, Emmanuel, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
That's good. I mean, great topic. You know, when you were talking about the Monique situation, that's kind of near and dear to my heart. A couple reasons. Yeah, it really is. A couple reasons. One of the people you said on Facebook mentioned, like, hey, if you're a single guy, would you talk to someone that had on a bonnet at the store? And I see it all the time. And, me being single, I really wouldn't approach that person.
Really?
No, I wouldn't, and because I know me, right?
Okay.
And I've learned this through my life, and because a lot of times I will look over things that I know is something that is kind of on my list, and I know I shouldn't have a list. But I have a list of, and I think we all do kind of internally.
Yeah, absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong with having a list. You need to have a list.
You do.
Okay. Because I've made some choices before, and because of me saying, I was telling myself, hey, I don't want to be, I don't want to consider it judgmental or compromising. Now, a woman with a bonnet on, I don't think that's necessarily compromising, like my moral compass or anything like that. It's just something that I know will be an issue in the relationship.
Okay.
So if I know going in that I'm gonna have that conversation, like I know you're not wearing that. Even for myself, when I go to Walmart, run to the store, I actually have to put on a decent clothes. It's just been that way since. But again, this is your environment. Your environment is so important because I was raised in a household. Father was a pastor, so you've seen a lot of suits, and so yes. I would go to school, first grade, second grade, with a suit on, and of course people would joke and laugh at you. You got a tie on. I'm in school with a tie on, but that was my environment. And so as I got older, that same environment, that's still me. Now, I don't wear suits and ties every day, even though I'm in the industry where I do sometimes. But people do look at you based upon what you have on. I don't think that's fair. Recently, probably a couple months ago, I ran into one of our local politicians that we all love, near and dear to our heart. And I had on a gray jogging suit, and she was very dismissive. And it really made me, I felt very, almost offended because that same person, when I had on my suit, she didn't know who I was. And so it's so interesting how I thought maybe because of what I got on, what I have on, maybe that's the reason why people do look at you that certain way. Like for me, I'm a father raising a daughter. She's 10 years old, and one time she was walking out the door and she's had her bonnet on, and she knows at 10 that I got to take this bonnet off because I'm not riding with Daddy with no bonnet on. And she even knows that she would say, "Okay, I need to take this off. I don't want to look a certain way," and I won't say what she said. But even her at 10 years old, to her, it's like, okay, I can't be out in public this way. Now, again, I believe people wear what they want to wear. A lot of these companies right now, and these are white companies, their people come in with jogging pants, they come in with shorts, they have this comfortable attire, and that's okay because it doesn't mean they're less intelligent because they have on jogging pants. They're less intelligent. They know their stuff, but their HR says, hey, we have a relaxed environment, so that's okay. And I think people are going to express themselves how they want to, and we don't go around saying, oh, you're wrong for doing this. But we all have an opinion, and we all know what we look for in a mate or in a person, and if that's not what you look for, like for me, and like you said, they're beautiful women, but I just know I probably can't change you. I'm not going to come in your life and say, hey, you're not wearing that anymore outside. And I'm not that person trying to change anyone. I just feel that they're not what I'm looking for, and just keep on walking.
All right. Victor, I appreciate your call. Can I just say somebody on Facebook mentioned that maybe you should have shown in those gray sweatpants more prominently and you would have gotten some attention.
It's some talk about them gray sweatpants.
Well, I'll say this: they were over the size that I needed.
Yeah. That's it.
Purposely.
Yeah, they were too big. They was too big.
Too big. Yeah, exactly.
Victor, I appreciate your call.
Hey man, have a good one.
All right.
Listen, it's something to them gray sweatpants. They just hit different.
Oh, they try to bust Victor out. Victor said he said they was too big. Victor, man, don't say that. Don't say that. They don't know what you was looking like. You should have said, hey, trust me, she could see. You know what I'm saying? They was too big.
You gave the appropriate answer, Victor.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did.
Victor, you did.
Yes, you did. Honesty is always the right answer.
Oh, that's horrible. 749-1230. Carol, you're on the buzz.
Hey, hi, Emanuel.
How you doing, Carol?
And Raven. I'm sorry I didn't speak to you, Raven.
You're all right, Miss Carol.
But I just wanted to touch on a little bit about the dress, the appearance.
Yes, ma'am.
You like you said, you shouldn't really go by anybody else's judgment. But if we go back to the basics and the way it used to be, I don't think we'll have a problem. But we're going with this modern stuff, and it's not all it's wrapped up to be.
Now, hold on a second. I just want to understand what you're saying. You say go back to the basics and what used to be?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Hold on. Now, the basics and what used to be based on what time?
Based on the way we were raised up under the parents, under the grandparents, and under the great-grandparents.
So not historically the way things were and the way they used to be when we weren't trying to assimilate to European American culture, back to once we were more fully assimilated with European American culture, trying to be like them more. That's what we should go back to, trying to be more like.
No. Now would coming up as a kid, would you be able to come out and go out in your pajamas?
No.
Okay. That's what I'm getting at. The way you raise your children is the way that you were raised, and it makes for good kids.
Not
really
necessarily, though, Carol. Sometimes the way you were raised, you grow up and you realize, oh, some of that stuff wasn't good.
Well, now I haven't seen it yet where it has destroyed anybody. Maybe because they wanted to make that change. And sometimes a change is not good. I would when I go out to walk out the house, I like to know that whatever I have on, I'm going to be able to turn heads in it and not turn up noses.
So you're really worried about what other people think about you?
No.
Of course you are. No. If you're worried about turning heads and not turning up noses, that says I want to impress other people.
No.
Yes.
I have to be comfortable with myself.
That's not what you said, though, Carol. You said you want to turn heads and not turn up noses, and that's more a product of what other people think about you.
Let me rephrase that. When
Yes,
I walk out the house, I know I'm comfortable with myself.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And if I'm comfortable with myself, then other people will be comfortable with me. And if they're not, oh well.
And that's how the people wearing the pajamas feel.
Well, maybe. They might feel that way, but
it's bad for them.
It doesn't look that way.
Hold on, but it's cool for you if you feel that way, but it's bad for them if they feel that way because you don't like what they do?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying is let's get back to the basics. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, on the other one, I'm going to try to speak a little fast on this. The Black Lives Matter.
Yes, ma'am.
That's another thing, too, we need to get to the basic on. Because if you go back to the way the Black Panthers ran it, they ran it. And the people that was in it was true.
Okay.
Was true people. And when you pulling people into an organization, you have to make sure that they're committed.
You got to do your best, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right.
Okay.
Carol, I appreciate your call.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
You do the same.
All right.
All right. That's Carol. And, you do your best to bring in people who committed. Of course, we know Black Panthers, they had some not so committed people who sold them out.
A whole movie on it.
But you try your best to bring in people who are committed. And if you're not committed.
But also, too, and when it comes to.
Hold on. I'm late for this break. It's the afternoon experience. Beth, hold on. Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
WDBZ Cincinnati, home of the afternoon experience with Emanuel Livingston and Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. Weekdays on 1230 AM, 101.5 FM. The Buzz of Cincinnati, your talk station.
After 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. I mean, we got just under an hour. But hold on, let me do this. I gotta start the hour off by doing this because I've neglected to do this for the past few days. 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 101.5 The Buzz and 1230 a.m. You can catch the Russ Parr Morning Show. You don't want to miss. It's a good show. They're entertaining. They're informative. They play good music. What else would you want in a morning show? Check it out. 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. After that show, 10 a.m. to noon, I'm really just one thing to say. The best show on radio, period. The Lincoln Ware Show. You don't want to miss the Lincoln Ware Show. He's talking about everything, say it with me, and everybody. And you don't want to miss it. Lincoln Ware, 10 a.m. to noon, Monday through Friday, right here on The Buzz. Of course, noon to 3 is this show. You're watching, you're listening, you know what we do. 3 to 6, Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. He's like America's civil rights leader now. You definitely want to check that show out. He raises the bar so far I can't even see it. I can't even see the bar from where I am. That's how Al Sharpton do it. 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, 6 to 8, a replay of the best show on radio is actually slightly better the second time around. It's like when you put leftovers in the refrigerator and then you reheat them, and sometimes they taste better. That's like the Lincoln Ware Show the second time around. Even though he was a little off the tip. He got super excited today because he was talking to Dee, who's a lesbian. And Dee told him that when she went to jail, they gave her knee pads. And Lincoln got super excited. And I was thinking, no, Lincoln, no. But he couldn't help it. If you don't believe me, listen at 6 o'clock, 6 to 8, the Lincoln Ware Show, the replay. Then, of course, 8 to 11? 8 to 11 is 3 hours. That's 3 hours, ain't it? 8 to 11, you'll catch a replay of this show. 11 to 2. 11 to 2. That's 3 hours, right, Raven? I had to check my math with her. 11 to 2, you want to check out a replay of Al Sharpton. Then from 2 to 6 a.m., 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., Jesus comes in. Jesus put on a set of beats, tilt his head to the side. He get that arm going, and then he plays some of the best gospel music you've ever heard. 2 to 6 a.m. right here on the Buzz. There's no reason for you to go anywhere else. It becomes praise on the Buzz. All right? 749-1230. That's the number to get on board. If you just tuned in, first, I'm live streaming. Go to the Facebook page, go to the YouTube page, go to the Instagram, go to the Twitch. You know, I had to work on that Twitch thing because I always want to say something else. Either I want to say Mitch or I want to say something that begin with TW but doesn't end in itch. But
oh Lord,
I'm working on it. It's Twitch. Twitch is it's a thing out there. If y'all don't know about it, get hip to it. Twitch. So just search my name on either of those and you can join in the online conversation. We're talking about a few things. Former Black Lives Matter leader sounds off on the group's ugly truth. He left the group because some of their beliefs didn't line up with some of his. But he dropped a video about it. He dropped a mixtape. They don't do mixtapes no more, do they?
Yeah.
They still do mixtapes?
Absolutely.
How you drop a mixtape in an age where nothing is a tape or a CD?
Because there's a such thing as the internet.
Right, but then it's not a mixtape.
Yes, it is.
It's a mix MP3 or something.
No, sir, it's a mixtape. It's a collection of songs that are not an album or an EP. It's a mixtape.
It's not a tape.
It don't have to be on a tape.
Then it's not a mixtape.
Yes, it is.
Oh, so you're trying to drag me down now.
No, I'm not.
But he dropped a mixtape talking about how bad Black Lives Matter is. I don't like that. We talked a little bit about Naomi Osaka pulling out of the French Open, and we talked a little bit about Monique. Okay, we talked a lot about Monique and the clothing thing. I do have one question before I go to Beth. One question. Are you ready to go back to the theater?
It's funny you asked me that question because I've been thinking about it lately because there are some movies have started coming back out and premiering in theaters.
Yes. A Quiet Place 2 came out. Yes. I think it brought in like $48 million.
My sister and she took my nephew to her and my 15-year-old nephew. They went to go and see it and they had a decent, nice little time and it wasn't too crazy or nothing. Honestly, I feel like the whole world is just back to being open. Like, everywhere you go, everybody's everywhere without a mask on. Like, restaurants and stuff, they still require you to wear one. But when you get in there, you take it off anyway, so what's the point? Like, the world is back open right now. I'm not particularly ready to go back out there and be all up in it like that. But I ain't gonna lie and say I haven't done a few things here and there that...
But the movie theater.
I don't know.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet.
I feel like movie theaters are dirty anyway. Like, I see movie theaters as inherently dirty. So during COVID, I don't know if I necessarily trust myself in a movie theater like that.
I'm not going back. And I'm not gonna lie. The pandemic may have, at least for me, ruin the movies.
So you don't have any desire to be in
No
a theater?
desire to go back to the movie theater. I will wait a few weeks, maybe month or so, until it comes to whatever streaming platform. I'll wait. Except for maybe, because, everyone like Avengers Endgame.
I was getting ready to say, that'll probably be what brings me back to the theater. Because there's an experience when you watch a Marvel movie in
something
theater.
like that. But it's got to be something huge, must see. You're not going to be able to get away with it. It's going to be spoilers all out. So maybe for something like that. But there's nothing like that I see on the horizon.
Right.
So for the foreseeable future, I'll be with all of my streaming platforms, and I can wait for like Quiet Place 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait.
Isn't that going to be on? That'll probably be on Netflix soon, or Hulu or something like that.
I don't know which one, because they all attach to certain things. Like if it's not HBO or one of the HBO Go, HBO Now, whatever it is.
HBO Max.
I'm not going back though. I could see myself. I got a nice big, like I bought a 4K projection thing. It's 120 inches.
So you got a movie
4K
theater in the house.
projection. I didn't even buy like a regular surround sound. Like I like to overdo things.
Yes.
So I bought a little surround sound decoder, and I have very, very, very nice speakers, because I do sound from time to time for different things. And from time to time, I have to replace speakers. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with the speaker, but just, it served its purpose and it's time for me to upgrade to something else. So I have some speakers that I've upgraded from just sitting around the house. They'll never go out for another gig. They're perfectly good speakers to use in a nightclub venue, for example. I got them set up. So I'm using those as my surround speakers, and I got a couple 18s subs that I'm using. Oh, yeah. My sound.
You got a whole little setup.
Yeah. So I don't need to. When I go back to the theater, I'm going to be like, this sound is terrible. This sound is terrible.
Going to be a sound and audio snob.
So, yeah, I don't need to go back to the theater, and I don't plan on going back.
Speaking of theater, just real quick, are you excited for Black Adam?
No.
Not at all?
No. Because I'm a little tired of The Rock. I'm just a little. Like, I'm not hating on him. Like, I like The Rock and everything. I'm just a little tired of him. I think he's kind of overexposed to me. All of his movies are kind of the same. Plus, it's DC. They don't really do movies good anyway. Yeah, that's another one. I'll wait to come on.
DC is always hit or miss. The first Wonder Woman was pretty good, but the second one was trash.
Yeah. So I'm not excited about it. I'll watch it, but I'm not excited.
That'll be an HBO one for me.
Are you ready to go back to the theater? Are you ready? I want to know. But let me get Beth in here. I got a few more things, actually, that I want to discuss with you. Beth, you're on the buzz.
Hello, Emanuel. How are you today?
Hey, I'm well.
Okay, now you say you have some other stories that you would like to delve into.
Yes.
Okay, I tell you what. Can I hear your stories and then comment?
Okay.
Sure. I prefer that.
Okay, hold on just a moment. I do Moderna. I got two stories that don't seem like they go together, but in my mind, they go together. Just, you got to walk with me, though, for just a minute to let me pull it all together, okay? Moderna files for full COVID-19 vaccine approval. Yeah, they've decided, they say they're in a position where, it has begun a rolling submission to the Food and Drug Administration of data from its studies of the 2-dose vaccine. Now, we all know Moderna has already been cleared for emergency use. They have an emergency use authorization, but they're not fully approved. Large-scale studies of the shots continued after Moderna's emergency authorization. The FDA will scrutinize the information to see if the vaccine meets stringent criteria for full licensure. Something's going on. I can't talk today. I blame you, Raven.
I get blamed for everything.
But Moderna is the second COVID-19 vaccine maker to seek full approval, of course, following Pfizer. Last week, Moderna announced that its vaccine appears safe and effective in kids as young as 12. And the company's plans to seek emergency authorization for teen use this month. So that's one story. Okay. Moderna is seeking full approved status.
Does that change how you feel about the vaccine?
No. I mean, even if they get fully approved, at this point, I still don't think that it's long enough. Like, my understanding is there's a fairly lengthy process of clinical studies that have to happen, and they look at the results over a good period of time to determine whether or not they approve a medicine, and it hasn't existed long enough. And look, I get that some people keep saying, because I keep hearing this, I'm going to get to this next story that doesn't tie into it, but I'm going to tie it together anyway. I get that people keep saying, no, they've been working on this medicine for 20 years. And they had the framework together, and then they just had to do a little bit. And that's how they ended up getting it ready so fast. I accept that. I accept that as true. They got the framework together, and they just had to put the finishing touches on it to, kind of tailor it to this particular virus. I'm with that, 100%. All right, now that y'all have tailored it to this particular virus, show me the years of research and clinical trials on humans. Oh, y'all haven't been trying it out on humans for the 20 years that y'all been working on it? Then what good is the 20 years? That don't prove nothing to me. Okay, you worked on it for 20 years. You got it together for 20 years, but did you study it on humans for 20 years? Well, no, we just started doing that when we got the emergency authorization. All right, then. So what, that mean about a year and a half? You about 6 years short. So don't come at me with that. And again, I'm not anti-vaccine. If you want to take the vaccine, I encourage you, take the vaccine. I don't trust the vaccine for me. I don't want to be I'm not going to say the Z word.
Don't say this. I was just going to say, don't say the Z word.
I just don't trust. I watched I Am Legend. I'm not going back.
Do you know that they're not even zombies in that movie? They're not technically zombies.
I know. But I wouldn't want to be them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to live huddled up in the dark and, avoiding sunlight until the, nightfall.
Playing hide and seek with mannequins.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be them. So that's that. That's that about the vaccine. If you want to take the vaccine, take the vaccine.
I've been thinking about it.
You've been saying that for a long time.
I've been thinking, because it's a constant battle.
You getting on my nerves with this.
I don't see how I'm getting on your nerves, but you not getting on nobody else's nerves with your, I'm
encouraging people to take the vaccine.
Yeah, because you want close test subjects around you to observe.
Girl, go take the daggone vaccine.
And that's exactly why I'm so, conflicted.
Go take that vaccine.
If I'm not gonna be the CDC's experiment, I'm not gonna be yours either.
You're not gonna be mine.
Yes, I am.
You're going to be theirs. I'm just going to be watching you.
Exactly.
I'm just going to be watching you. All right. I just looked at the clock. I got to take a break. I'm going to hit this next story coming out of the break, and then we'll get to Beth and maybe you. It's the Afternoon Experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
Hey! The Buzz of Cincinnati is with you wherever you are. Just download.
Okay. Now, I know, how many of y'all took the vaccine? How many, and in case anybody's wondering, I'm talking to the people online. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Instagram, did you take the vaccine? Have you been vaccinated? Inoculated? Ain't that technically that's the word? That's what some people who want to be fancy say. Cinnamon says not taking it. Nope. Quintano says no. Marvin says he took the Pfizer. All right. Lady K says no. Broken Wing says yes, February. Victor says he took it and got diagnosed with COVID 2 days later. Brendan says negative, don't plan to. Tyrone says they are extremely bad vaccines on the planet, not taking it. D. Foster says nope. Kathy says no. In Shell, I'm going to say Nichelle, says didn't take the flu shot either. Anthony says yes at Walgreens, 2 shots, Pfizer. Anthony Harris, he already took the vaccine. He says he has no problem at all. Angela says no to the vaccine. DeWanda says, unfortunately, I did. Okay. So I don't really have a take on that. Broken Wing says Pfizer. Took the Pfizer vaccine. Shahira says not taking it over here, waiting to see how everybody else does first. And I don't take the flu vaccine either. All right. Miss Lucky Adoption Center says nope, don't trust it. Miss Lucky Charm says no, I'm not ready either. I'm not even ready to go back to the nail salons. Don't they wear the mask though at the nail salons? Like when I go to the nail salons. Yes, I do. I get a manicure and a pedicure periodically. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I've only done it 3 times, but that's still enough to say I go. David says he took Moderna. Angela says,
taking care of his hands and his feet.
Angela says, I rely upon my naturally formed antibodies from contracting it. Kim says she had the vaccine back in February and March, and she good. Lady K says, Walking Dead filmed in Cincinnati. But yeah, at the nail salon, they wear the mask, so you should be good. But yeah, I'm just not trusting it. I'm with, who was it that said? Yeah, Shahira. I'm waiting. And I really, for those of you who are participating in the clinical study, Kim says 2-step Moderna. And you know, if you took it, you are participating in a clinical study. And there's nothing wrong with that. People participate in clinical studies all the time. And I had somebody argue with me, like, I'm not participating in no study. I'm like, yes, you are. They even gave you a paper when you took it. And if you read that paper, it tells you you are participating in a clinical study. I only know this because I went on the CDC website and looked up the paperwork that they're legally obligated to give you. And yeah, it's a clinical study. I mean, that legally they have to tell you, or at least give you the paperwork to say that it's a clinical study. Carolyn says she took the Moderna back in January and February. All right. For those of you participating in the clinical study, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all because of your bravery. And, you know, maybe a little fear, but your bravery. The virus, the deaths and all that stuff have come down. And I give y'all credit for doing it. And I genuinely appreciate it. I'm keeping my eyes on y'all. Of course, twofold. Number one, see if y'all turn into zombies and something like that. Because if y'all do, y'all got to get handled. And then number 2, just to make sure it's safe and, you know, see how many boosters they going to have to give y'all and all that kind of stuff as we keep moving with this. But Nichelle says, I'd never see salon workers wash their hands in between servicing clients. Oh, I guess I hadn't really thought about that. I don't be looking at whether because in my mind, they dipping their hands in that water because they always do my feet first. So they dipping their hands in that water with all of the stuff to kill germs and stuff on it. I'm assuming that blue stuff they put in there is to kill germs. They dipping their hands in there. Stuff is getting killed. So they should be all right.
101.5 FM, the buzz of Cincinnati.
"24 minutes after 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock. I'm with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Got about a half hour, just over a half hour to go. 749-1230 if you want to get on board. Genetically modified salmon head to U.S. dinner plates. Yeah. The inaugural harvest of genetically modified salmon began this week after the pandemic delayed the sale of the first such altered animal to be cleared for human consumption in the United States. Yeah. Several tons of salmon engineered by biotech company Aqua Bounty Technologies will now head to restaurants and away from home dining services, where labeling as genetically engineered is not required. This is happening in the Midwest and along the East Coast, says company CEO Sylvia Wolf. Yeah, what they've done is they've genetically modified salmon. And they say they're growing them in their own tanks. They say they got nice filters on them so the water stays clean. They don't have to do all of the other stuff that a lot of people do. And they genetically modify these salmon to grow to reach market size, which is anywhere from 8 to 12 pounds, in 18 months rather than 36 months. So you get a little baby salmon egg. You get a chicken to sit on it until it hatch, and then you put it in the water.
I'm sure that's not how that works.
I think that's how it works.
That's not even remotely how that works.
Chickens sit on the eggs and then they hatch, and then you put it in the water.
No,
it's genetically modified, and the little baby grow to full size instead of 36 months, 18 months. Now they say this is going to be good because they say a lot of the salmon that we eat is imported. And this way, one of the reasons that they couldn't get a lot of salmon during the pandemic is because it's imported. And of course, during the pandemic, it wasn't really important stuff like that. So they out there and they are selling genetically modified salmon. The international food service company Aramark in January announced its commitment to not sell such salmon, citing environmental concerns and potential impacts on indigenous communities that harvest wild salmon. Other major food service companies, Compass Group, Sodexo, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, says that they won't carry it. Costco, Kroger, Walmart, and Whole Foods maintain they don't sell genetically modified or cloned salmon, and if they did, they would have to label it as such, which is why they're not selling it, in your grocery store. They don't want you to go there and see something that says this is genetically modified, so they can sell it to the restaurant. The restaurant don't have to tell you about to eat some genetically. You just taste the salmon and this is some good ass salmon, and that's, you don't know.
But you don't see the packaging that it's coming in.
Yeah. My question, of course, is would you eat the genetically modified salmon? If not, why? Why? Now, some people are against it because like the one company, Aramark, says environmental concerns and the potential impact on indigenous communities that harvest wild salmon. Because if you think about it, if I don't have to get your salmon, if your economy is based on catching salmon and selling it to the United States, we don't need your salmon no more. We make our own in a lab. Get those little eggs, let those chickens sit on them and hatch them, throw them in the water, and we good. We don't need you and your cages and all of that kind of stuff. Now your whole economy is shot. Your whole economy is shot because that's what you did. And so that's one reason why people aren't going to do it or aren't going to do it. And then secondly, of course, some people are like genetically modified. Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't trust that. I ain't eating no genetically modified nothing.
We do it all the time, though, without realizing it.
Well, and, some people take...
I'm not saying it's a good thing, because I try my very best not to intake that kind of stuff that I know is, it's been made obvious to me that it's, something done to it. I try to steer away from that stuff, because I do care about what I put in my body. But I do know that every now and then it's liable that I'm going to ingest something that is not, 100% organic or natural.
So here's my question. If you've gotten the vaccine, I'm going to try to tie them together. And I know y'all going to say, it ain't the same, Emanuel. It ain't the same. Kind of is. If you got the vaccine, would you eat the genetically modified salmon? You got a vaccine that modifies you genetically voluntarily. voluntarily. It ain't even approved. At least the salmon is approved. So if you've got the vaccine, if you said, yeah, shoot me up once or twice, I will chance becoming a zombie to get rid of the coronavirus. Would you eat the genetically modified salmon? And if not, why not? Help me understand the difference. Help me understand the difference. I'm not eating the genetically modified salmon until some of y'all eat it and I found out that y'all all right.
You think everything is going to turn you into I Am Legend.
I don't know what's going to happen if I eat some genetically modified salmon.
You're going to grow some gills.
But if you go and eat some genetically modified salmon, I keep an eye on you for a while, and you end up okay, then all right, I can eat the genetically modified salmon.
I'm so sick of you trying to turn everybody around you into science experiments.
I'm just saying. So I see some people on here like, I'm not eating that. I'm out. No more salmon for me. Some of these people are the same people who said, yeah, I took the vaccine. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You took a vaccine. Now, I'm not a scientist. But you took a vaccine, if I understand what they say, that modified your RNA, which is genetic material, and tricked your genetic material into producing something to fight off something. You was cool with doing it then. What about with the salmon? Just curious. I just want to know what you think. All right, let me take a quick break. Beth, Mr. V, Ted, I got 2 lines available. I want to know, are you eating the genetically modified salmon? It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
Because we've got so much to talk about.
And look, the salmon, like, they say they taking real good care of the salmon. They are, hold on, let me see, where are we at? Aqua Bounty markets the salmon as disease-free and antibiotic-free, saying its products come with a reduced carbon footprint and none of the risk of polluting marine ecosystems like traditional sea cage farming carries. Despite their rapid growth, the genetically modified salmon require less food than most farmed Atlantic salmon. And biofiltration units keep the water in the facility's 70,000-gallon tank clean, making the fish less likely to get sick or require any sort of antibiotics.
I'm more concerned. I get the environmental standpoint that some of these stores are stating, because that, I feel like I care more about that than anything, because I do realize that, as stated, indigenous communities, that's how they make their living, by doing that and other different things. And so if you try to restructure that industry, you got to find a way to fit these indigenous people into that so that their economy can survive. Because it's the same conversation that we be having all the time about the oil industry and how we're about to make this switch over from petrol or whatever you want to call it, or gasoline, to electric cars and stuff like that. That's a whole industry of employed people who, if you change that industry, they no longer have work. So I guess my question is, what are indigenous people going to do? Like, how, because that's been how they've made their living for generations.
Well,
how do I find a new way to partake in this industry that I've been doing for generations?
The way that I see it, they'll figure something out. You know what I'm saying? They'll figure something out. Life will make a way. You know, they still gonna be able to sell salmon. They just not as much. And maybe then their salmon will become premium salmon. Like, you got the genetically modified stuff, and then you got salmon the way God created them, in cages.
That's not how God created salmon.
I'm pretty sure you can market it that way, though. Somebody said, so they swimming in their own. They got filtration tanks. Well, but this is better because they have filtration systems to clean the tank and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Military stereotypes are challenged today with the trailblazing promotion of a U.S. female officer to four-star general.
Let me see. First, I hope they are putting a label on that salmon that is... Well, no, they're not putting sort of. Like, you won't be able to buy it at your store. This is salmon that you'll get when you go to a restaurant or something like that. This is away from home because nobody wants to carry it and have to put the label genetically modified on it. So, that's why you won't see that in the stores because I'm sure they figure nobody'll buy it if we say, hey, you want some genetically modified salmon? Everybody gonna be like, no, but I want some genetically modified. So yeah, but when you go to a restaurant, depending on where that restaurant buys their stuff from, and my guess is it'll be a little cheaper, at least initially.
101.5 FM, 1230 AM, WDBZ, the buzz of Cincinnati.
Brothers got this complex occupation.
This is a collect call from a correctional facility from...
It's me, baby.
36 minutes after. 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. We're your talk station. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock. I got a lot of people on the social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. They're saying no genetically modified salmon.
Just say no to GMO.
But some of them said yes to the genetically modified vaccine. I'm being honest. Again, I'm not against it. I'm not against you taking it. But how do you say one is cool and the other one ain't? If you trust science, because then we just had this about something else. I forget what the other thing the science said was okay. And everybody was like, no, I don't trust that. Oh, no.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was just a couple weeks ago, maybe about a week or so ago. Oh, no. But science said it was okay. The FDA said this is not, the salmon don't have a emergency use authorization. Theirs is full out approved. Atomic vodka. That was it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Y'all didn't nobody want to drink the atomic vodka.
The radiation vodka.
They filtered the radiation out.
It is radiation vodka.
Scientists said the radiation was gone.
Radiation vodka.
There was this vodka that they were getting. Where do vodka?
They got the potatoes from an area close to Chernobyl.
Was it potatoes?
Yeah, you make vodka from potatoes.
I don't know this stuff. I'm not an alcoholic.
I'm not either, but that's just common knowledge, Mabel.
Okay. But yeah, they had irradiated. I don't know why I thought it was apples. Mm-hmm. They had irradiated something or another that they used, and then they filtered it. And scientists looked at it, and scientists said, "Hey, this is fine to drink." But nobody wants to drink what they're calling the atomic vodka, and now nobody wants to eat the genetically modified salmon. 749-1230. I want to know what you think. Beth, you're on the buzz.
Yes, Emmanuel. I did what you asked me. I'm getting you caught up on General Hospital. They ain't really doing a whole lot right now, so I'll tell you about that later. You asked me to get caught up on General Hospital for you, so that's what I did. I've been sitting there watching General Hospital.
I don't know what you're talking about. You just made that up.
Yeah, I did. Just like you do. So now you know how I feel. So, Emmanuel, listen, we are living in a genetically modified environment anyway. And the thing about it is, we really do not know what we're eating. Most of the things that are in food now, they're like, 3, 4, 5 syllables long. It takes you a minute. You have to break it down. It's ridiculous. So But would I do it intentionally? Absolutely not, because I'm pretty sure I'm doing that anyway. So, we've got that established. And you said something about you didn't want to go back to the show. You weren't ready.
Huh?
I said, did you say that you weren't ready to go back to the show, to the theater?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm definitely not ready to go back to the movie theater.
And you don't think there'll be, okay, so you say you're not ready to go back. Do you think you can, well, I know you can last, but do you think you'll be going back anytime this year? Because we're like 6 months in.
No. I can't see myself walking in a movie theater, sitting down and enjoying a movie anytime this year.
Wow. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, because I can see that, because as much as I want to see A Quiet Place Part 2, I will be, I don't think I could really, I know I couldn't enjoy it because I'd be feeling creeped out. And, I always felt creeped out anyway in the dark, because you think, like, what's crawling on this seat or whatever. You can't help but think that way. And so with me thinking there's something crawling on the seat and COVID, I couldn't thoroughly enjoy it. And as much as they charge you to get in there, that would be, it would not be a good experience for me.
Right.
So I do see your point. I mean, I don't know if that's all your reasons, but those would be my reasons. As bad as I would like to go.
Plus, you got people in there talking and laughing and just breathing, like packed into. Because when you laugh, you ha 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 ha.
Yeah, you're right.
Ha, ha, you know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff coming out.
I hope it ain't like that, but I know what you mean. You always have to overdo. You can't help it.
You got stuff coming out when you talking and laughing and gasping and all of that kind of stuff.
Man, you just ruined. You just ruined it all. I mean, dang. So for the people that really wanted to go, Emanuel just jacked that up for y'all. Cause
I mean, that's what's happening. Y'all in that little closed theater with everybody, breathing and whatnot. And okay, you said, well, maybe they come in between shows and they spray everything down and sanitize everything.
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with the air.
That's. I mean, you're exactly right on that. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Even if they had it like I know they have limited capacity. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I don't think so. That my guess is, I'm with you. I'm guessing, but my guess is, we getting rid of all of the mask mandates and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Everybody is going back to 100%.
You know what? When you had me on hold, this is what I was thinking. I said, man, one thing that probably could get me back in there if they did like back in the day, like a whole bunch of like your favorite movies. Like in one showing for me, if they did like Shaft, Superfly, and The Mac, I would be like, man, I probably would go back just to laugh at that mess. But then again, what?
I'm gonna be honest. I thought about doing something like that when we were Soul. I pitched to some of the people here, like, let's get with a movie theater and do like a movie Sunday or something like that, where we show what people call blaxploitation films, old school black movies, and maybe do like a double feature on a Sunday and just charge like maybe $5 or something like that to get in.
Fine. I would have been down with that.
Just do it and have fun, but nobody wanted to do it. I would have done it then. I don't know that I would do it now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I just don't trust, everybody out there.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. Everything you said is valid. I don't know, but that was just thinking about. I do want to go back to movies, but I'm like, it was just too much, and especially with the example you just gave about how people laugh. I'm really not going back for a minute, so you caused me to rethink some things. But thank you for taking the call, Emanuel. I appreciate it.
Beth, I appreciate your call. 749-1230. 749-1230. Mr. V, hold on, Mr. V. I'm sorry. I got to take a quick break. I'm up on this last break. It's the afternoon experience. I'm Emanuel Livingston. I'll be right back.
101.5 FM, 1230 AM. The Buzz of Cincinnati is your talk station. Let's go!
Now, you know Mr. V finna give you the whole rundown, right?
Well, he ain't down with eating chickens. He ain't down with eating nothing live. You're eating deaf and moita. Deaf and moita. You know, I'm like, yeah. I would hate to think of it like that.
I mean,
but sometimes that deaf and moita be tasting good. You know what I'm saying? You gotta eat what you gotta eat.
But I don't necessarily understand people who have a problem with meat. Like, I get the health benefits of kind of trying to stay away from certain meats, but at the end of the day, we are hunter and gatherers by literal nature. We have always survived by being able to hunt and gather our food. So I don't really get the argument that we're not supposed to be eating meat. That's not true. We've always eaten meat.
Do you want a job where you can make a difference? A place where students are guaranteed to receive the best possible education?
Somebody said, gotta eat something since we're running out of chickens. What? We're running out of chickens? We never run out of chickens.
Most of the chicken that you consume is genetically modified anyway.
So you say.
That's just a fact.
How you figure that?
Unless you buy, like, specifically from a farmer's market, you can pretty much bet that what you buy in a grocery store is got some kind of preservative or something in it.
What are you basing that on? But preservatives is not genetically modified.
But I honestly consider them one and the same. Like, if you can eat processed and foods full of preservatives, you can deal with some genetically modified food. It's the same thing in my eyes.
375-0700. See you there.
Only in the forest can you see this.
I want somebody to eat some of the genetically modified salmon. I'll check y'all out. Like, eat it semi-regularly. Like, if you just eat it once, ain't nothing. But eat it semi-regularly. And I want to make sure nothing happens. But to be complete, I don't think that anything is going to happen. I don't think anything is going to happen to people. I'm not anti the genetically modified food.
I mean, at some point in the near yet distant future, that's the only thing that's going to be left anyway, so we might as well get used to it.
Latrice says Raven is correct. What is Raven correct about? Preservatives and genetically modified, I think, are different.
It is different, but for me, it's the same thing. If you can eat processed and foods that are full to the T of preservatives, you shouldn't have a problem with something that's genetically modified. It's the same thing.
That's not the same thing.
To me, it is.
No.
If you can put something in your body that was not originally meant to be in your body, it shouldn't matter whether it's a preservative or genetically modified. Both are not supposed to be in your body.
I don't know that I agree with you.
Where can you find the answers to these questions?
That some of them preservatives, I'm sure, is helping me.
No, preservatives are to preserve the shelf life of your food.
And I'm sure when I take it in, it preserves me.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. Did you know? A lot of people don't know this. You know, people who eat a lot of hot dogs and stuff like that, if they have to, like, exhume them, they're much more better preserved. Their bodies are better preserved, theoretically, because of all of the preservatives that they've eaten. So it's helping to preserve me and my body.
I guess.
I ain't heard that about genetically modified.
But what risk are you? That's, again, it's the risk that you're willing to take. If you are willing to take that risk of, I'm gonna eat these scraps up from the animal that they call a hot dog and all the preservatives that come with it. That is not
how hot dogs are made.
How are hot dogs made?
I worked at a meat packing facility where we made hot dogs. It's just meat. They take the meat, they grind it up, they squeeze it into the tubes.
From where?
What do you mean from where?
What piece? Because they don't use the same stuff that they cut your steak with or they cut you a pork chop with. So where did it come from?
It came from the animals.
See, you being too vague, man. You being way too vague. You being way too vague.
You can't. Hold on, I'm gonna say this.
It's the nasty parts of the animal that you wouldn't buy and pick up.
What would you consider to be the nasty parts of the animal?
The parts that you don't want to eat.
Like what?
Like all of the stuff that they.
You eat chitlins. You can't talk about nasty parts of the animal.
All the parts of the animal that you wouldn't pick up in the store if you knew what it was. You know what I'm talking about.
10 minutes. 10 minutes till the top of the hour. 101.5 The Buzz of Cincinnati. With your talk station is the Afternoon Experience. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 3 o'clock. Let me read a couple stories, and then I'm coming to you, Mr. V. A couple quick stories, and then I'm coming to Mr. V. John Davis died, I believe, yesterday from COVID-19. He was 66 years old. You know who John Davis is, right?
I did not.
John Davis, one of the real singers behind Milli Vanilli.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I'm not all that familiar with Milli Vanilli other than they were lip syncing and got caught.
And one of the real singers behind Milli Vanilli died from the coronavirus at the age of 66. One of the real singers. I'll be honest, I didn't really have much beef with Milli Vanilli. I didn't have any beef. And I blame the music industry for Milli Vanilli. If people just took talent just for what it is, talent, this dude should have been out there singing his songs. But no, we needed some of y'all same people who don't like people in pajamas. We needed somebody that looked the part for us to enjoy the music. And then we enjoyed the music, but then we some people enjoyed the music. The music was all right. But then once we found out, they don't really look like that, then we don't enjoy the music no more. I blame the music industry for Milli Vanilli. I didn't really have a problem with it. I understand if John was like, you know what, I got these songs, I got this voice, I can write and produce these songs and put everything together and everything be amazing.
Was Milli Vanilli like a really popular band?
Yes. What band?
Or whatever you want to call it, duo, whatever.
Yeah. Yes. No, they were really they won the Grammy for Best New Artist.
Really?
Yeah. They sold millions of records. They were huge.
They just look kind of different for what I pictured, but okay.
Well, that was the people pretending. But I blame y'all for Milli Vanilli. John Davis couldn't be himself and make his music.
But I'm seeing pictures of them doing live performances, which I guess today that could be backup vocals or whatever.
Yeah, it was lip sync.
That's just so strange to me.
They lip synced. And they were forced to do that because people couldn't accept the gentleman who actually did the singing and rapping. So they had to go get faces to put on the music.
So we've never heard them vocally at all. It's all been that guy.
Well, eventually they did some stuff. It wasn't all that good. But eventually they did some stuff of their own. But yeah, he died from coronavirus. Let me get Mr. V in here before I run out of time. Mr. V, you're on the buzz.
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
It's a blessing to be with the living and the willing. You did the piece on the genetically modified salmon.
Oh, yeah.
A few things I would like to say about that, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
If it's off limits, y'all tell me, because I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings.
All right, I'll let you know.
First of all, if people really want to be healthy and they really love themselves and they care about themselves, they already know. They shouldn't be eating any salmon, period. Any flesh, period. It has nothing, I'll say this, it doesn't have any fiber in it. It doesn't help your microbiomes. It doesn't do anything for you.
It's got protein. It's got protein.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Say it's got protein.
If you do the scientific study on what quote-unquote protein, that's a joke. And I'm going to just say this to you.
Oh.
Anything that could possibly even come good out of even a natural fish is coming from the plants that grow in the water. Let me say this. One of the things that made me stop totally eating anybody's fish is, even if you don't have what they call genetically modified, they even lie about the quote-unquote wild caught. Then another thing, you go online and look up the documentaries about the fish coming by the fish activists coming out of Canada. Even the quote-unquote natural fish are being contaminated by all of these fish farms. It's the same thing as they're equivalent to taking dead bodies and feeding it to the fish. And even when the fish are in their natural flow, their natural migration patterns, they're being contaminated.
Wait. Hold on. You said the farms are feeding dead bodies to fish?
Yes, they are. They it's all documented. It's on films. The same thing with the beef and stuff in a lot of the stores. They grind up dead animals.
Okay, where are they getting the dead bodies?
I mean, what they're doing is, well, any animals that die. I mean, even on some of the farms in this country, if you look it up, the piece that they did called, I forgot the name of it, but they were showing where the farmers, the meat places, when the animals would die from sickness, they let them pile up and then they grind their bodies up. I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or mean, but the people need to begin to stop being lazy, care enough about themselves, investigate what they're putting in their bodies. It's just a fact. And even if it's not genetically modified, let me tell you this. I became so alarmed when all of this quote-unquote wild-caught salmon was supposed to be Pacific salmon that came out of China. When did the Pacific Ocean go through China? So that automatically was a red flag. Then if you look it up on the back of any pink salmon, they put a chemical in it, a dye in it to make it pink. Are you still with me?
I'm with you, and that's
so the
true.
bottom line is this. If people really want to be healthy, they need to stop putting dead animals in their body. That's what it comes down to. And all they have to do is take, all these people got all of this technology. All they have to do is use a little bit of their technology and investigate this stuff. I mean, when someone want to feed you something, you should know every ingredient that's in it and the absolute effect that it has on your body. If you're not willing to do that,
but everyone,
that's reaffirmation.
but everyone doesn't agree that those are necessarily the effects on the body. Everyone doesn't agree with that.
What are we going to go by? The science or what? I tell you
there
something
are
else.
Scientists who will tell you and encourage you to eat meat for
Which
multiple
scientists
reasons.
encourage you to eat meat?
A lot of them.
Which one? I tell you what. Here's what I'll say to you
every
is this, my brother.
scientist.
Here's what I'll tell you is this. Check out the research and what's substantiated. Just for example, I'm going to give you this example.
All right, real quick.
If I can go online right now, and it will tell me that a certain fruit has 25 health benefits. I should be able, if that person has done real study, real research, I should be able to look at why. Someone shouldn't be able to say to me, it does this, and not be able to tell me the chemical reasons why. I just looked at a tree this morning, a few minutes ago, that the leaves on the tree have 15 different natural chemical compounds in it. And when I research every one of them, the research and the science tells you exactly why they attack and prevent cancer. Now,
and again, it would be depending on who did the research and what scientists tell you that, because you could almost always, Mr. V, find someone who did some research to contradict what that research said. So it all depends on who you actually believe.
Use to verify something, brother. Here's another.
All right,
I got one more
real
point
quick.
I'd like
You
to
got
make
about
you can verify this.
you got about 20 seconds.
How many walking around here don't? How many people walking around here don't live to be 120 years old? How many of them don't live to be 100? How many of them are sick and in the hospital, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all these other diseases?
What?
And actually, the science will tell you why.
All right, Mr. V, I gotta run. I'm out of time.
I know you do because this is very
No, I
important.
gotta run
We
because
gotta
I'm
keep
out
the
of
people
time. The clock. There's a clock. The science. Come on, man. Follow the science. The clock says I only got so many seconds before I got to get out of here. You know that some vegetarians don't live to be 100.
Adela Joe been eating fried chicken her whole life, and she 81.
All right, I got to get out of here. Thank you for everybody who listened, who called. I appreciate you. Raven Monday, as always, I appreciate everything you do from that side of the glass. It's been the afternoon experience. Al Sharpton is up next. That's it for me. Till next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace. So that's it, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Yeah, my time is up. The idea that I really did want to explore that last question. Like, how many people running around here don't live to be 100? A lot. Most. The idea that he gonna live to be 100 is something that, and I don't think that that's a product of, hey, Miss Mundy, can you turn that down for me? Thank you. I don't think that's a product of him eating like watermelon rinds and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic or funny, when I say that, but he said he eats watermelon rinds. If he dies before the age of 100, what are you going to blame then? Well, he won't be blaming anything because he'll be dead. But those people who believe like him, what will they be blaming? There's always going to be, somebody said, a lot of vegetarians die from too much soy. There's always going to be science on this side, and then some other science does this to kind of discredit this over here. Always going to be the case. Always. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, taking some time to, hopefully enjoy the show. Hopefully we learned something today. I learn stuff every day. So I don't ever have a problem admitting that I learn stuff. What is Simon? He was trying to say salmon, but he can't pronounce it right. Like, I don't know if he got all his teeth or, something like that. And it'd be hard to pronounce stuff when you don't have all your teeth. That's not funny. That's not funny. It's true. It's just the truth.
Relatable.
B-Rab said, good show, E-Man. I would call, but I'd be nervous. Don't be nervous. Don't let Emanuel scare y'all. He ain't nobody to be scared of. Well, that's not true.
That is true.
I am somebody to be scared of if I want you to be scared. But I don't want you to be scared. If I want you scared, be scared. Be scared. But no, he was saying salmon clearly. And say it for me.
Salmon?
Okay. Yeah. Some people really hit that L hard.
Salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon.
Yeah, they hit that L real hard.
But you're not supposed to pronounce the L. It's
No. You don't do that.
That's just salmon.
It'd be like saying a knife.
But I feel like that's a down south thing too, because my grandma pronounces certain words differently. Like, she hits her R's real hard, and she hits silent letters real hard. Like,
and
instead of tomorrow, she says tomorrow. Or
yeah,
her days of the week they're not like day. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Which I don't know how you pronounce Saturday from Saturday, but she says Saturday, Sunday.
Yes. And I can always tell when people learn how to spell subtle, because they actually pronounce the B.
Subtle.
And I'd be like, you just learned how to spell subtle, didn't you? Or sword, they pronounce the W. A sword.
I'm not all that mad at that.
It's not a sword.
I'm not mad at that.
It's a sword. But yeah, I've had people say subtle, and I'll be like, what the hell? Did you just learn how to spell that? So you felt like, since now you know it's a B in there, you got to pronounce it. Come on. I can't believe you didn't know who Milli Vanilli was.
I know who Milli, like I said, I knew who they were in the story, but I didn't know the details.
Then you didn't know who they were.
I knew that it was
you didn't even know what they looked like. Milli or Vanilli could have came up to you.
But this is the thing, though.
Even though one of them
But
did.
This is the thing, though. Like, when you watch TV, certain references, they last for years. So as I'm growing up as a child and I'm watching all of these syndicated 90s TV shows, they're making, comments. And so I know how to read between the lines and as a child and put context clues together. So basically, it was some kind of artist group that got caught lip syncing, and it was a big deal. That's all I ever really thought.
So then you didn't know who Milli Vanilli was.
No. I never heard any of their
Hold on.
songs.
I just want you to know.
I didn't know what they looked like.
I just want you to know all of that you just said.
Yes.
I said, I can't believe you didn't know who Milli Vanilli was. And you said, I knew who they was. And you said all of that stuff. And then when he was done, I said, so you didn't know who Milli Vanilli was? And you was like, no.
But because you making it seem like I just had no concept of what they were or who they were. That's not true. I just know what they look like, or I never heard of their music.
Then you don't know who they are just because you know a name.
But I'm familiar with how people think of them, or at least talk to them these days. I was aware of that. I just never seen them, never heard them.
That's like saying, oh yeah, I know Michael Jackson. I mean, I don't know what he looked like, and I ain't never heard none of his music, and but I've heard the name. Then you don't know Michael Jackson. You can't say you know if you don't know anything about him. If Michael Jackson walked up in here and was like, hey, how you doing, Raymond? And you would be like, who is this light talking dude? I have no idea who he is.
You act like you ain't never met somebody in name, or you've never heard about somebody and then met them in person and didn't know who they was because you would never put a name to a face. It would be the same thing.
It is not the same
thing. Yes, it is.
It is so not the same
thing. Yes, it is.
You didn't know who Milli Vanilli was. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
To keep it 100% honest, I didn't know what Emanuel Livingston looked like before I had my interview to come up here and interview with an Emanuel Livingston. I had no idea, because when I was out there waiting for my interview, this wasn't here, and I was in here watching you do your show before the interview, and they was like, yeah, you have to interview with Emanuel Livingston, A+, and Don Juan. And I was like, okay, I know who Don Juan and A+ are, but who's Emanuel Livingston? Got in here and didn't know that was you. So you can know somebody in name before you know them by face. You can know that.
You didn't know nothing about them. Just say, you're right. I didn't know who Milli Vanilli was. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right, that's what it is. You don't even care.
No,
about
actually, it's just the opposite. You just wanted to disagree with me because I said you didn't know something that you didn't know, and you didn't want to admit that you didn't know it. That's really what happened.
No, it is not. I know I'm familiar with the overall concept of Milli Vanilli. I just didn't know what they looked like. I never heard of music.
And you didn't know they were a big group.
No, I didn't know they were that big.
Yeah.
I knew that they were had some popularity because otherwise, who would care if they were lip singing? But I didn't know they were huge.
Okay. Well, y'all, I appreciate y'all. It always do my heart when I can prove the millennial wrong and make her come over to my side.
I don't know what's going on with your heart right now. It might be a palpitation. You might want to get that checked out.
It does my heart. Does my heart well. Thank you, DeWanda. Thank you, Jabbar. Hope I'm saying that right. Miss Lucky Charm. Brendan. That was not a good Michael Jackson impersonation. It wasn't. David want to know where's the grammar bell. I'm gonna have to get one because I do need a Me Too. Not a Me Too.
Oh, wow.
I need a That's what I need. A bell.
What is that?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Why is everything a secret? This work relationship is becoming a lot less trustful as the days go on.
I can't tell you. I can't believe I'm actually slightly offended that you don't know about the bell.
What is that? Just tell me.
Google it.
It don't pop up on Google.
You don't know till you try it. Oh, I appreciate y'all. That's Raven Monday. All right, my time is up. Got to get out of here. Until next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.